Welcome to Minnesota, where every moment is an adventure. From the tranquil natural beauty of our waters to the rich culture of our cities, Minnesota is where unforgettable memories are made.
Go inside now! Get in the house!
Step into friendly neighborhoods that make you feel right at home the moment you arrive. Stroll through vibrant streets, soak in the energy of our dynamic nightlife, or indulge in a shopping spree at one of our world-class boutiques. And behind it all is strong leadership and inclusive policies that create a place where everyone can thrive.
Everyone can thrive.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
We're ready to be your next adventure.
Your next adventure. That's right. Minnesota. What's up, everybody? Oh,
Welcome.
sorry. Ooh. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? I thought I would, show everybody that's Tim Walz's new ad for he's running for his third term, or as the Germans would say, the third term, third term. Not this, or is it this? Not this, or this third term or something. I don't know. From that movie. What's that movie called? Anyone? Perfect timing? I don't know. Sorry. It's not Minnesota, it's Somaliopolis. Yes, I agree. Hey, I got what's up? All right, let me go through and say hi to everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. What's up? GS Harkman is first. Tika, what's up? Steve Hilliard, how you doing? SB Farmer, Mike, No Jabsky, how you doing? Just Dawn, a soulless ginger. Hello, none of your business. What's going on? What the F? Mother of Papillons, Daniel Gagax, Marjorie, hello. Terry, how you doing? Catherine K, hello. Kevin, what's up, bud? Colorado Mountain Girl, popping in to say hello. Okay, thanks for coming in. Patrick, what's up? Yeah, I had to blow up the inflatable dog. It had a leak. I had to patch it. It took a little too long. Yeah, Mika, what's up? Just Dawn, yes. Who else am I missing here? Tim Larson, what's going on? Agag. Mike, Steve, Woodtick, Mike, what's up? Minnie Somalia, yeah. Who's handsome? Hey, how you doing? Fourth Reich, maybe the fifth. Who knows? So, got a bunch of stuff lined up for tonight. Whole bunch of stuff. Hoping to get through a bunch of it, get through a lot of it. I have to apologize to everybody. Anyone who saw that I did start to post a show last night, I was going to stream. I was supposed to stream with Joe. I had a couple sick kids in the house, so I had to take care of them, deal with that. Couldn't stream. One would just go to sleep, the other one would wake up. One would go to sleep, the other one would wake up. So it is what it is. So here we are tonight. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. See how I did that? Yes, Bella is here. She's sleeping there, though. See, there she is. So it is what it is. So let's do here. We're going to start with the first story of the evening here. Wow. Breaking FBI bombshell: 274 agents sent to Capitol for J6. Many later complained they were political pawns. That's weird. But I swore that people testified to Congress under oath that there was no agents there. Seems odd, right? Seems odd. Very, very odd. If this is true, then January 6th was a total FBI deep state setup. They set up the entrapment operation that invited MAGA supporters into the Capitol. Awful. Yeah, look, this is a known Antifa member who's paid $70,000 for his Capitol riot video on January 6th. That's crazy. This case is breaking. The FBI has acknowledged that it had 275 plainclothes agents in the massive crowds on January 6, 2021, more than 4.5 years after questions were first raised about the level of FBI involvement that day. Mm-hmm. Jim, do you remember how many informants they said were in the crowd? If we had to add the informants to the FBI agents, that means at least an eighth of the crowd that stormed were law enforcement. Yeah. That's crazy, right? It's crazy. So that's almost as bad as the Whitmer Fednapping hoax. It was a total setup. Yep, Ray lied to Congress too. That's right. Ray lied to Congress. Ray lied to Congress. He gets indicted. He's gonna go to jail. Any idea why the 800 military generals are being called in? I know they're being called in, but it's not just the generals, it's the admirals too. It could be to tell them to their faces that this gender stuff is over and we're not playing them games anymore. I can imagine that's what it is to tell them. And maybe he wants to see them. And if any of them are dressed in any weird stuff or got anything to say, they could just relieve them of duty immediately. I don't know. 274 vacancies that will open up at the FBI. It's possible. I would just like to see him really, like, a lot of these guys, I think, didn't want to, were just doing their job per se. They were just, just following orders, as they say. Yeah, the taxpayers also paid for those informants, Trump shirts, and the hats specially designed. Yeah. Yeah, it could be a team building summit. Sure. I don't think it's a team building summit. I think it's a laying down the law summit. He wants to look them all in the face in a crowd and say, this is the way it is. And if you got a problem with it, you can go, because once you get up there at that level, the president tells you goodbye. You're goodbye. They are basically political people. They try to deny it, but you get up in that, generals and admirals, they're politicians. You believe the top brass are being called in so they can cull the herd? I don't know what the super war like everyone is saying. I think they're gonna see who's on board. Oh, yeah, Jay Leon says the 3i Atlas is an alien spacecraft. The generals and the admirals need to get ready. They need to know. When is it happening? I'm not exactly sure. It was in yesterday's news blob. Maybe I'll pull it up later if we get there. Man, we've been going 15 minutes and I didn't even say anything about the goal. Anyway, you guys know the deal. We do a little show here, about 2.5, 3 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. Maybe a little longer, maybe a little less. We'll see what happens. But, but for every $75 in total that comes in across all platforms, I will add an additional hour with additional topics and additional stories. And at that point, I will also enact and enable Bellavision, unless and until someone makes a single donation in memberships, super chats, Rumble Rants, PayPal, Cash App, locals, gifted members, you name it, of $25 or greater, and then Bellavision gets activated for the night. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, so here we go. Trump said he wants to get rid of a bunch of 4 stars. We have like 400. It's crazy, right? Considering, didn't we in World War II, I think we had 5 or 6 4 stars. That's it, I think. Seems like maybe we got too many. Maybe. Yeah, so the Blazes learned. So these are all, FBI plainclothes agents embedded into crowds. I want to amplify this, but it looks like it's coming from an anonymous source in Congress, not the FBI or Congressional Committee. Is a formal acknowledgement of the number from an agency or congressional committee forthcoming? Yes, whatever that means. I don't know. It says weaponization. The FBI has admitted that 275 plainclothes agents were present in the massive January 6 crowds, more than 4.5 years after questions first arose about the extent of their involvement. Senator Mike Lee says this information was withheld from the American people by the Democrat-led J6 committee and FBI Director Chris Wray for over 5 years. So this is probably another reason why Biden pardoned all the J6 committee people. Probably. And Steve Baker, FBI's acknowledged it, blah, blah, blah. Mike Ben says, holy S, 275 agents in the crowd, more than 250 undercover agents in plainclothes secretly in and around the crowd. And that's just the FBI. That's not including DHS undercovers, like the one setting up Jeremy Brown, Fed insurrection. Yeah. Dude, this is hey, Pat, how you doing? Phil, hey, Phil, how you doing? There were 7 4-stars. Now Space Force has authorized 4 for 25,000 personnel. That's crazy. You heard speculation that China may stir it up with Taiwan. I don't, you know what? I think China is behind a lot of the stuff that's happening in this country right now. The stuff that we're seeing, these protests, this whole Antifa, the communists, that money's coming from the CCP. It's coming from other communist organizations through Cuba, Venezuela, and other commies. So China. China needs us distracted and with other things going on, basically, for them to be able to put a move on Taiwan without us putting a turd in the punch bowl, as they say. Yeah. Bellavision. Well, we would need a donation to get Bellavision. You know, we would need a donation of $25 or greater to activate Bellavision. Oh! And I just see that there was one that came in on Cash App today at 10:47. Was that you? Was that you? And I guess we get the Bellavision. Because we got $25 coming in on Cash App. So yeah, that's okay. All right. Well, I didn't want to dox you or nothing. So, but there we go. We got the Bellavision. I guess I need to zoom out a little here. Zoom out a little more. I guess zoom out a little more too. What is she doing? Why is she? I don't know. Anyway, there she is. There's Bella. Just chilling, sleeping. Wow, I got to fix the banner now too. Because we are now $50 away from the first additional hour. There we go. Okay. Yay, Bella, yay. Do who say what? If 10,000 were D at the Capitol, thus 1 in 40 were feds. But Ray wasn't pardoned and he lied to Congress. Sure seems like it, doesn't it? Seems like he lied to Congress. It really does. It really does seem like he lied to Congress. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And as Kerry Lake says, they staged a riot on January 6th to frame patriotic Americans and cover up a stolen election. Justice is Coven. And Donald Trump tweeted, a radical left Democrat scam. Bombshell. 274 agents sent to the Capitol for J6. Many later complained they were political. Oh, thanks, Pete. Could have also all the other 3-letter agencies, undercovers, plus the local and state police. Oh, yeah. There was probably thousands when you start taking in the local, state, DHS, Army intelligence, naval intelligence. A lot. Hey, Sunshine, how you doing? How you doing, Sunshine? Nice to see you. Nice to see you too, Mark. Sidney Powell says, bingo, to crush and demoralize the MAGA movement. That's right. That's what they did this. This guy, Matt Strickland, says, the fucked up part is that they had almost 300 FBI agents on January 6th. What's fucked up about our country is that not one of them came forward in the past 4 years. No way all of them with far left ideology, but they sold their country out for a paycheck. They're cowards. They should all be fired and put in prison. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Doesn't it make you wonder? Makes you wonder. Hey, there's 85 people here watching on YouTube alone. So please, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That's all I ask. And this guy says, I did. I got fired. So this guy's saying that Phil Kennedy's saying he did say something about it and he got fired. He also did a great, meaning obvious bias. Americans continue to witness this James Comey's famous July 5th, 2016, no reasonable prosecutor speech. So this guy says he did get fired. And this is breaking from Raw. A video of a suspected federal agent breaching the Capitol on January 6th and blaming an innocent bystander is going viral after the FBI admitted nearly 300 plainclothes agents were embedded with the crowd. And supposedly a lot did have a problem with it, but they're only speaking up now and doing it anonymously. Yeah. So here, let's watch this. This is a video. It's like a 2-minute long video, and you're going to see this agent right here with this is an agent. You can tell. Look at him. He's got walkie-talkies, his mask, his face.
Do not go in there.
A radio journalist from Michigan was shooting video that day at the Capitol. What he captured were two, most charitably called suspicious actors, but they are dressed in such a way that led him to believe that they were government agents. And one of them, after the windows had been broken by a protester, it was encouraging people to pull the rest of the glass out and go inside. Bobby Powell, who was the journalist that had shot it, and he has his camera rolling, he told him that would be illegal. And that wouldn't be a good idea. He warned people off not to go into that window. And then he turned his camera around and he caught this agent or suspicious actor pulling a large pane of glass out, this tempered glass. It kind of folds into itself, crunch onto the ground. When he realized he was being filmed, he quickly dropped it. It seems apparent on the video that he did not want to be seen doing what he just did. So he pulled in a protester and started blaming him. He said, "What are you doing breaking that window?" The poor fellow that was being accused didn't know what was going on. And then he gave him a couple of really good shoves and cocked his arm like he was going to punch him. We don't know. His facial image is not on any of the Sedition Hunters sites or the FBI's most wanted site, but he clearly was committing criminal damage to property, and he has not been charged. So it raises a question of why.
Also, the individual trying to, again, opening the window up is even encouraging people to enter, I believe, as well.
Yes.
What's he saying?
Well, he said, "Why don't y'all open the rest of it up?"
Why don't you guys open up the rest of it? Because I think that'd probably be illegal. Oh, I know, my glasses.
Yeah, never arrested. Strange, isn't it? Never arrested. Strange. Hey, Sharon Tyler, thank you for showing up. Always great to see you guys. It's strange, isn't it? It's just strange. Yet they can track all these people down and do all this stuff. And here's another one. When you answer the question, who ordered this guy to get arrested and then first bump another agent, you have to answer to January 6th. Yeah, here's this. Remember? This guy's getting arrested, then let go. Huh. Wow, totally on the up and up. Totally not rigged. J6 was a setup from the get-go. 225 assets. Well, he's wrong. It's 275. We'll see. We'll see if Cash will find him or not. I mean, yeah, more tales of the kayfabe insurrection. Yeah. Will we ever get a real J6 investigation? They're supposedly doing it, but they're like Mike Johnson is letting the Democrats put people like Raskin and them on the panel, like people that were involved in the first one. Like, we saw this guy like this. The fact that this guy has never been identified seems odd, right? Seems odd. It seems that they never found the pipe bomber, right? Yeah, here we go. So here's Clay Higgins is all over Chris Wray, accusing the FBI of having ghost buses transport agents dressed as Trump supporters to the Capitol. Your day will come, he tells them. So here we go. Ready? Here we go.
He said he was communicating with his FBI handler while people were entering the U.S. Capitol. Can you confirm that the FBI had that sort of engagement with your own agents embedded into the crowd on January 6th?
If you are asking whether the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was
See how he just did that? See how he just did that? If you are asking if the violence, he's not answering the question. He's obfuscating the question and refusing to answer the question that was asked. It's a game they play.
part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources and or agents, the answer is emphatically
You're saying
not.
no?
No.
You're saying no?
Not
Okay.
violence orchestrated
Let's
by
move
FBI
on.
sources or agents.
Are you familiar with you know what a ghost vehicle is? Director of the FBI certainly should. You know what a ghost bus is?
A ghost bus?
Ghost bus.
I'm not sure I've used that term before.
Okay. Well, it's pretty common in law enforcement. It's a vehicle that's used for secret purposes. It's painted over. These two buses in the middle here, they were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence. I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg.
Mr. Chairman,
These two buses
Mr.
are
Chairman,
painted completely white.
point of order.
And of course, a Democrat's going to come in and stop this to protect Ray and cover it up. This proves the Democrats know what's going on, are involved, because they're stopping this questioning from happening.
Point of order. Sure.
Just run over the time.
I understand, but you'll recall that Ms. Jackson Lee's been allowed to go 2 minutes before. I've been very fair in letting people finish their questioning throughout my tenure as chairman, and I'll continue to be fair on that regard. But I will make a note to the members, if you could stay as close within your time as possible. We have a lot of people that want to ask these gentlemen questions. So with that, the gentleman yields. But your point, I've been very fair in this, Mr. Ivey, with everybody on this side of the aisle just as much.
I don't think I accuse you of being unfair, Mr. Chairman. I'm just
You're
raising
making a
of
point.
order.
Okay, thank you. I now recognize Mr.
May I
Gray.
close this statement, Mr.
No,
Chairman?
I think your time is expired. Mr.
I note that other members across the aisle have been granted time, and I object to my question being closed. This is a very significant hearing, Mr. Chairman, and these buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters.
Yep. Yes, they were. What is going on? What is going on? Man. This guy says, here are 4 of them, right? Right here. Here are 4 of them. I went back to my camera's originals from January 6th and did a blow up of those less compressed files. Tell us who the fat guy is. It seems to be some kind of lookout for Ray Epps. Ready?
Jesus came for sinners. So what's your message today?
The message is say no to Antifa. That's my personal message. I'm tired of Antifa destroying cities, wonderful, beautiful cities in this country, like Philadelphia, Seattle, Portland. These cities are run by liberal leftist mayors that basically turn a blind eye to Antifa violence. Antifa dresses up in all black, and then they go around and terrorize the citizens of that community.
That's my personal message. I'm tired of Antifa destroying cities. Wonderful.
That definitely was a hand signal, right? That definitely was a hand signal to somebody.
Beautiful cities in this country. Like Philadelphia, Seattle, Portland.
It's weird the way Ray Epps comes around him like that and does that. Yeah, the FBI lied. The FBI said there was less than 30. They lied. They lied. Hey, there's 105 people here watching. Please hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up. Give me a like. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. Sub up. Member up. Do what you got to do. Yeah, Ray Epps. Terrible guy. Hold on. Here. Let's see. Was there anything else here? Welcome to the party. You're the only about 5 years late. Yeah. So congressional sources now confirming 300 FBI operatives embedded in the crowd. Here's one of them breaking into the Capitol and blaming it on that bystander. Oh, we saw this. And we saw this guy breaking in and blaming it on the bystander. And they got Tim Pool saying that shortly after January 6th, AOC told the story on Instagram where she said there was a banging on her door and she thought the rioters had made it to her office. Conservatives slammed her as her office is not in the Capitol. However, liberals pointed out that there are tunnels that connect them. The only problem, AOC's story took place an hour or so before the Capitol was actually breached. We joked that she must have had foreknowledge of the riots were going to happen. Maybe it wasn't a joke. Yeah, maybe the FBI was banging on doors telling people to get out. Maybe you got FBI, you got Capitol Police, you got all these other people, This guy says it was obvious. I remember when this video first emerged right after January 6th, it shows people removing their black and brown clothing, revealing red MAGA gear, and saying, delete that to the person filming. Oh, let's see this. Got this. FBI discloses to Congress it embedded 275 plainclothes agents in January 6 crowds. Rank and file FBI agents after January 6 claimed political bias infected operations, feeling like pawns in the political war, according to an after-action report withheld from the public for over 4 years. Hey, Julio Scissors, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, Ray Ops. Yeah, that's, No, it was the Capitol Police, but at the time there was no rioters to be afraid of. Okay, maybe it was the Capitol Police, but they knew something was going on. I mean, we had all types of people involved in this. This was a massive operation that clearly, who else was involved in this? That probably the reason he got pardoned was, what's his name? Mark Milley, Chief of Staff, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, Chairman. He probably, so easily we all forget 9/11, J6, COVID lockdowns. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, this guy says, yet they remain silent. GPS, how about some J6 numbers? 2,632 mobile devices overlays have indicated were also present at 3 or more George Floyd Antifa BLM riots. When 3 or more filter is removed, 8,744 that day were present at 1 or more George Floyd riots. There were over 300 FBI agents in the crowd, not just confidential human sources. Additionally, the J6 pipe bomber, we eventually determined there was very likely may have actually been 3 pipe bombers, bomb dog training aids with a total of 9 mobile devices when fitness trackers were included. Ew. Yeah, Nick Fuentes was there and never arrested, yes. Our theory is that the final pipe bombs were planted on J6 after the ones planted on J5 were retrieved, possibly because latent fingerprints DNA were thought to not have been wiped and their explosive scent for K6 had not been applied. Interestingly, the Department of Justice IG Michael Horowitz report to Jan 6 was only 88 pages out of 500,000 pages of documents with no mention of Antifa, BLM, or the pipe bomber. Why do you suppose that is? Maybe if they released all 44,000 hours of J6 videos and allowed all the captured GPSs with overlays to identify the federal assets that had access to key cards, required FBI, DOJ parking lots, garages in Washington, D.C., or visit the Pentagon, DOD, D.C. Navy Yard, U.S. Police Headquarters, the Capitol Police leaderships are the one blocking the release of the videos. And who do we have here?
And this gentleman, you want to just describe the whole situation, just kind of like where you were in the things. Where were you actually today? I'm gonna flip it around. Is that right?
I was on Constitutional Avenue.
Is that right? Can I flip it on you?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was on Constitutional Avenue.
Okay.
We went down first. There was a few of us that got to the gate. There was 4 police officers, and some people entered. The gate was taken down, and the second gate was entered. And then went to the third gate. There was some Antifa with us, and we didn't know they were Antifa at that time, but they were the Weaponization. I was going back and forth, trying to tell them not to call policemen names.
They're pretty aggressive with the police. Yeah.
Pretty aggressive with the police. They were throwing things, breaking things.
That's ridiculous.
There was they broke some street lights and some fencing down. They were throwing things, hitting our own people.
So people, now hold on to that thought, because people are going to ask the question, how'd you know they were Antifa?
We didn't know they were Antifa
at the time.
But they weren't us. We're not violent people.
Right. Okay. That's a good point.
We don't.
So, and I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot to play the cowbells for you when you activated the Bella Fund, and I just noticed it. Got Julio with some bones for Bella. Thank you very much. And then Trumpinator with 5 says, if you like Jim, please support him. We don't have to be rich to support him. All we need to do is value what he does to inform us all. Thank you. Thank you very much. With that, that brings our total so far down to let's see here, $35 away from the first additional hour. So we're $35 away from adding an hour to the show. Just got here. What's that guy saying? Tucker at one point. I'm not sure if he says Tucker. But yeah, and I want to go back to this. Our mutual friend Don. Yeah, they tried to screw Don over. Like, they waited years, and Don never went in any restricted area or nothing. And thank God Trump won and was able to pardon everybody. And before, I mean, it did cost Don a bunch of money. So, I just hope he's doing better now. I don't know. We want to play this whole damn interview with him.
We don't hate the police department. The police department's on our side. They may not. We're taking orders from their boss. We're doing a job. They probably feel the same way we do about this whole thing. But I got to tell you, when we got to the top and look back,
the top of
the steps
at the Capitol.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It was quite an amazing sight. I got a little emotional when I looked back and I saw all the papers behind us.
Wow.
Thousands of papers.
So what is your thinking? Why are we going down to the Capitol at that point? Is it to make sure that we surround just a visual? Are you thinking at that time it's kind of a visual thing, or are you actually thinking it's symbolic? What are you thinking?
I think it's symbolic. I think we have tried everything. We've been down there several times. We've done everything the right way. We haven't broken laws.
I love that. That's true. That's so true.
You know what? I've been here before with 1.5 million people, and there wasn't a piece of trash left on the ground afterwards. There were people there to pick it up and put it away. This is who.
Let's see. So this is basically, I'm not going to watch. Let's go here. Hold on.
And I'm not going to put somebody on that I think is a total whack job because, right, we have a message and it's got to be credible. And this man is telling me that, first of all, when I started talking to them, they said it was clearly Antifa that breached those gates. It was clearly Antifa. And he.
All right. So he's blaming Antifa. I want to point that out to everybody. Hold on. Point that out that even though Roy Epps was there in the front telling the people to breach the gates and do all this stuff, he's video of him doing it. He's here telling this guy that no, it was Antifa, it was doing this. And so he's clearly a Fed trying to throw shit into the mix, man. Well, Sharon Tyler, I really appreciate that. Your support is to always like his videos and support him with your presence. Yes. Yes, that's all I ask. If people want to help in other ways, that's great. I really appreciate it. It's not required in no way, shape, or form. It's just what I think what Trumpinator is trying to say is that, if you can and you're able to, extra support is nice, but I just, like and subscribe. If that's all you can do and all you feel like doing, that's great. I like it. It was Fox News that he was saying, but mostly for Tucker's comments, course dismissed the suit. Oh, this is the guy that sued Ray Epps. Yeah, Ray Epps. Antifa, FBI, what's the difference? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, poor old Glowy Ray suing. Yeah. And so then Judy Kelly says, so I'm finally getting around to the new disclosures related to the plainclothes FBI agents deployed to the Capitol. We all knew that FBI assets were dispatched after the protest started. I'd like to know more about the conduct of each agent who told them to go. It appears Washington field office was most heavily involved, at the time led by Stephen D'Antonio, who, if anyone doesn't remember, Stephen D'Antonio was the guy who headed up the Whitmer kidnapping hoax and was promoted to go to Washington to do the same thing there. Yeah, I saw that, retired Merce, that the FBI just fired the agents who were caught kneeling for the George Floyd stuff. Yeah. It's about time. I want to caution everyone from lumping these employees in with confidential human sources who are not FBI employees and absolutely played a role before, on, and after January 6th. That said, the comments posted in the so-called after-action reports demonstrate how so many FBI employees were angry about the politicization of the Bureau at the time. Not only did FBI employees point out to their superiors the unequal approach to January 6th versus 2020 riots, which most admit was far worse, and the FBI's abuse of investigation into J6ers, particularly those accused of misdemeanor offenses. Yeah, back then the consensus was Antifa was just some idea. That consensus was a bunch of baloney. How can an idea have websites and have international reach and have funding that spans the globe? Memberships, a hierarchy. They have their own law firm. The Lawyers Guild. Hey, you stopped in to check on Bella. Well, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, JT, for coming by. Yeah, so here's all the stuff. And this has been and remains the biggest complaint about the FBI's handling of J6 versus the Floyd riots. Just 6 months earlier, the media knew this. They embraced the disparity and cheered the use of every FBI resource to hunt down the J6ers. It's right here. What is even more unacceptable is the hypocrisy displayed by the FBI and its leadership in their attempt to go after those involved in the Capitol riots, while we as agents watch cities burn across America during the summer of 2020. And you guys know that it was Judge Boasberg who protected Ray Epps. He gave Ray probation while locking everyone else up. That's why it's important for Americans to once and for all know if Epps was a Fed asset. He was. It would unravel the entire operation. Yeah, this guy, the guy who Trump hating guy who Boasberg, who tried to say that Trump couldn't deport the Tren de Aragua gang members. This guy. Yeah, Ferguson. Yeah, Ferguson was bad too. Yeah. And this guy, Tony Segura, says Michael Fanone deserves a Justice Department deep dive investigation into everything from his decision to self-deploy and his close relationship to a black transgender sex worker, Leslie Perkins, and being introduced to Black Lives Matter Antifa. His recollection of the events that day are convenient deep state narrative at best. Yet another reason to release the 44,000 hours of J6 videos hidden by the Capitol Police. This guy's got a tattoo of a spider web on his neck. I don't know if you guys know anything about anything per se, but generally speaking, people that have spider webs tattooed on them, it means something. It means something in a certain corner of the earth. And it doesn't mean they're cops. Kind of means the opposite. Anyway, I think this guy got pardoned, though, because he testified in the J6 committee. The FBI posted pictures for months tracking down Americans they considered terrorists. Why aren't they doing the same for the Antifa terrorists outside of the ICE facilities? FBI is seeking information. Look what they did here. They took this guy and they took the mask and they digitally altered and did this stuff to try to find this guy for just standing outside protesting. Hey, what's up? Yeah. That's right, Gary. There you go. And it generally isn't the police. Here's the story from Disclose. The FBI had 74 plainclothes agents in the crowds. FBI secretly deployed 274 plainclothes agents on January 6th. Oh, Bella's moving. Everybody look. She's not a stuffed animal at all. There she is. She's moving. There she goes. Look at her. Look at her. Now she's going to, oh, there she goes. See? They turned over 50-page after action report. Agents lacked proper safety gear, clear identification, risking misidentification with other law enforcement. Well, what's the other law enforcement? Who else was there? Rank and file agents slammed the Bureau's leadership, claiming political bias infected operations under James Comey and Chris Wray. Our response to the Capitol riots reeks of political bias. We've been used as pawns in a political war. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the 274 agents sure didn't walk there. No, they were brought in by those buses, the vans and stuff that that congressman we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in 2021, Brian Stelter does an entire segment ridiculing the idea that FBI assets were involved with January 6th. Oh.
When you assume you make an ass of you and me.
Tucker Carlson must have forgotten this lesson from The Odd Couple, because his latest January 6th conspiracy theory makes huge assumptions in a baseless bid to let rioters off the hook.
But strangely, some of the key people who participated on January 6th have not been charged.
Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene assuming Carlson is right and saying we need names and answers about the FBI operatives who were involved.
Well, it sure seems like Brian Stelter, Clay Higgins, that's his name, Clay Higgins. Sure seems like Brian Stelter assumed that the government wouldn't do this shit when they did. Huh. Why are we talking about issues from 10 years ago? It's not 10 years ago. This is like 4 years ago. Because the information just came out. We just got proof. Should we not? This is like the biggest story out there right now. Am I not supposed to talk about the biggest story out there? I'm confused. Mm-hmm. FBI bombshell, 274 agents sent to the Capitol. Many later complained they were political pawns. It's the same thing from the Blaze here. FBI had 274 agents embedded in January 6 crowds, congressional sources say. Has anyone said Alex Jones was right again? I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's quite relevant considering the information that was released about it today. Yeah, it's a big hoax. It was. Giant hoax. So yeah, so it's all out there, all the information, all this stuff. All right. All right. Now we got another thing, which is, oh my God, I guess I shouldn't talk about this news that just came out today either, but I'm going to talk about it because that's what I do here. Big news in the Tina Peters case. Former election official from Venezuela just gave sworn testimony regarding Smartmatic. Guess what? Americans' elections are rigged, according to this. All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a story that started years ago, but it hasn't ended. It's very relevant. Yeah. Well, I have that story, Mrs. Hacker. I have that story. It's, I have to, it's a slow build. I got to keep it going, and I gotta, I can't cover everything at once. I gotta, got to keep it going. So, right here, confidential witness has been fully sworn. Sir, do you have personal knowledge whether the election systems in the United States, the voting system, can be manipulated by foreign agents? Answer, the electoral systems of the United States can be manipulated by foreign agents or third parties. Sir, are you in danger, physical danger, if your true identity is known? Yes. Are you in order to protect your safety? Have you agreed to your identity will be redacted in the final transcript of your testimony? That's correct. Have you received any money or anything in exchange for your testimony? No. Which case is this election case from? This is actually, this is the Tina Peters case out of Arizona, or Colorado, I'm sorry, Colorado, and the Smartmatic lawsuit. This is coming out. So Rasmussen report says, boom, the fall of the machines, new Smartmatic testimony. The electoral system of the United States can be manipulated by foreign agents or third parties. Big news, the Tina Peters case, former election official from Venezuela just gave their sworn testimony. The elections are rigged, according to this. Fall of the machines, Smartmatic whistleblower testimony. The witness drew a direct connection between Smartmatic's Venezuela election rigging and the vulnerabilities found in Mesa County's Dominion forensic images. He testified that Dominion Systems architecture shares core elements with Smartmatic, enabling manipulation through the same methods, deliberately small log files, accessible source codes, SAES data utility style tools, and remote managements. Confirmed, U.S. elections are able to be manipulated by foreign agents through Smartmatic voting machines. Tina Peters court case. Former election official from Venezuela gave sworn testimony regarding Smartmatic. We read that, yeah. Summary. The witness drew a direct connection between Smartmatic's Venezuelan election rigging and the vulnerabilities found in the Mesa County Dominion forensic records. Well, I think he concluded Dominion systems built with Chinese components and a voting system designed by a former Smartmatic engineers are not secure or auditable by U.S. elections. No comment from either company yet. So the comments haven't said nothing. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Mike Lindell, it's all coming out. We have to save our country and get rid of electronic voting machines. Mike Flynn says, free Tina Peters now. Tina Peters is the only person who, she got sentenced for like 9 years for doing her job, for making a copy of the actual vote file so that they could be, yeah. Nothing is over until we decide it is. That's from Animal House. Remember when Blutarsky was making the speech, and then Otter says to the other guy, "Forget it, he's rolling." Yeah, Germans, forget it, he's rolling. Daniel Gagax got it. It was from a movie. Make paper ballots great again. Yeah. Democrats own Colorado. Yeah, well. Because of this is why they own it. This is Mark Mitchell from Erasmussen says, let me get this straight. A Venezuelan voting machine whistleblower under oath testified that voting machines are insecure, have components secretly made by China, and our elections are completely insecure. Seems big. Yeah. And that's why they covered up all these things. Remember this? This should have been big. Yeah. The ironic thing about that line is that Hitler didn't even know where Pearl Harbor was. Probably not. Probably didn't care. Yeah. Mike Lindell hasn't stopped working for justice pertaining to Smartmatic decisions. Spending time thinking about the future, too. I am. If you don't think about the past, then you can't think about the future. If you don't know what was done, how can you stop it from being done again? It's called accountability. Tina Peters already exposed the fraud from these machines and is currently serving time for it. That's right. Tina Peters exposed all of it. She had the proof. And then they said somehow she broke the law. They got some weird charges. The feds need to step in and get her out. This is a bombshell testimony. The whistleblower said the number of federal election laws that were broken over multiple U.S. election cycles are staggering. In short, the machines were designed to fix elections and do so in a way that can't be audited. Sworn testimony of the Venezuelan Smartmatic whistleblower, Tina Peters, U.S. We're not going to listen to this. This is 2 hours and 18 minutes, so I'm not listening to that. This guy says it's the end of the Dominion voting company and other computerized voting systems. Over a dozen whistleblowers, Venezuela, Serbia, Canada, Dominion, China, and our very own federal government have been stealing our elections for decades. It began with the 2000 Bush-Gore hanging chads. Super important find, and watch the Dan Rather interview of the workers at the election paper supplier Sequoia Pacific. Their floor employees were the good guys. Outsiders and management purposely supplied defective paper, and what happens? Calls for using computerized voting machines. And it happens. Next, in 2002, this occurs. HAVA was a very strong law. Until just days before it passed, it got gutted what it was supposed to be. Then smurfing, criminal money laundering into campaigns using computer bots, begins with the 24 Kerry campaign. They needed money, lots of it. Then calls for statewide computerized voting registration systems, and it happens in 2006. Then Act Blue rises in 2008. More money. Computerized voting systems get cocky and very corrupt. State senator elected Barack Obama. You know the rest of the story. The ERAC forms in 2012, inflating and corrupting our voter rolls. Computerized voting systems spread across the country, many controlled by bad actors flipping votes with no detective possible. Enough fraudulent paper ballots fed in to make the system sure everything's match. And this is my Patriots in a nutshell, is how we get our crazy world today. There's a 2-hour video below. We're not going to watch it, so I'm not watching the 2-hour video. But we will watch this. We're going to watch a little bit of this. All right. We're going to watch a little bit of this.
Eyewitness could deliver a lifeline for Tina Peters. In the new filing, a key witness corroborates Tina's claims about rigged elections and validates her preservation of the Mesa County database. The filing with the witness transcript was provided at the invitation of the court in response to another filing this week. It includes sworn testimony of a former Venezuelan government official who assisted the government in rigging Venezuelan elections using Smartmatic software from 2003 through 2016. The filing states that, quote, based on his own personal knowledge, computer expertise, and examination of the forensic image preserved by Tina Peters, the witness testified that Smartmatic software has the same structure and vulnerabilities as the Dominion software used in Mesa County and 61 other Colorado counties, and that elections in Colorado using Dominion software are just as insecure as the elections that were rigged by the Venezuelan government using Smartmatic software.
Wow. So there it is. Mm-hmm. All right. Now we're on to the next story. We're going to keep it moving tonight, folks. We're not going to dwindle. We're not going to dwell on any topics. I'm going to keep moving. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Plus, I have all of yesterday's stuff that I'd like to get to some of it. Yes. I'm going to get to Des Moines, Iowa. The Des Moines, the guy from Guyana. They got caught with a gun, a legal alien that they put. It seems like this has happened. And we just like the second one, if I'm not mistaken. Minnesota had one too that was in charge of an agency. This guy was superintendent of schools and it was an illegal alien. It's crazy. Yeah, Scantron points. Here's part of the Comey story no one's talking about yet. A classified spill is when intelligence is mishandled outside secure government channels, potentially implicates the Columbia Professor Richmond and others. This video is from 2018. And glad I went back at the Pixie Cut. So here's Catherine Herridge is she's self-promoting herself here.
Amazing exchange to me is when you had Director Comey confirm that he shared those memos documenting conversations with the president with 3 other people. So the Columbia professor, that's what he testified to, also what he described as his personal attorney, Patrick Fitzgerald, and then this other attorney. What's key here is that he told you, Brett, that those memos were returned to the FBI after they found classified information. He can call it whatever he wants. That is a classified spill of information. Doesn't matter whether they have clearances. They didn't have the ability to secure that information.
Sure.
Amazing.
So I wonder if Comey could be charged for that stuff too. We'll have to see. Why does he keep doing that to me? The volume is low. I'm trying. I'm doing the best. I turned it up. Mm-hmm. This, according to her, she says there's more to come with Comey based on her 2 decades of covering the FBI. A thin indictment suggests a holding charge with the potential of more complex superseding indictment that adds more charges. This is not only possible, but plausible in Comey's case based on the recent classified FBI leak investigations, codenamed Arctic Haze. Arctic Haze records reveal several FBI senior leaders and Columbia law professor Daniel Rickman said they coordinated media leaks at Comey's direction. That's Ribicki, Baker, McCabe, and Rickman. They're all probably going to get need more RAM? Okay. There is the cotton in the vase, New York City hotel being racist to Serena Williams story too, Jim. I saw that. I just want to know why she felt the urge, like it was something inside her that forced her to go pick the cotton. And did anybody yell, get your cotton picking fingers off my cotton? It's not funny, Jim. Is my volume low? Is that what you're saying? Hold on. My volume low? Damn it. Why does my volume keep getting turned down? Is that better? What the hell's going on? Better stop doing that to me. Really pissing me off. Something keeps turning down. I mean, hold on. Is it auto set again? Audio. No? Okay. All right. No, the video I played was low. Oh, my volume's good. Is my video too loud now? Is my audio too loud now? I can turn it down if it's too loud. Yeah, so here, Arctic Haze, that's what they're looking at. New reporting. It says she understands that the indictment was ready to go and all the evidence was there. It wasn't shaky. They were lying. See what was going on? Critics of the former U.S. attorney alleged he was blocking or slow walking the charges. Yeah. Maybe it had something to do with Comey's son-in-law actually being an employee there. Yet this fusion Kendallenian insists there's no comparing what the Biden DOJ did to Trump to what's happening to Comey. My volume just dropped almost immediately after I closed the settings window. Are you fucking serious? Did you guys see the settings window? That's weird. Hold on. If it's... Why does it keep doing that? Why does it keep lowering it? What is going on? Stop it. Why does it keep... Something is going on and it keeps dropping my damn volume. No, it is. It keeps doing it. It keeps dropping my volume. I can see it. It says 85. I turn it up, it goes down again. Better stop it. Hello, 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 hello. Now it just went to 78. Pissing me off. Really pissing me off. Better knock it off. Anyway, I don't have auto leveling on StreamYard, but it seems to be Windows is fucking with my audio. I don't know why. Anyway.
That is a watershed. That is a line that we have crossed now in this country. And Republicans are going to say, Jen, well, wait a second. Didn't the Biden administration do that? Didn't the FBI go after Donald Trump? That was completely different. That had no resemblance to what happened here with James Comey. Those were investigations based on the facts and the law, pursued by career FBI agents and career prosecutors overseen by a special counsel, totally walled off by any of the political leadership in the Biden administration. Millions of Republicans do not believe this, and that is one of the reasons we are where we are, but it is a fact. And this, what happened with Comey is so much different. That is a watershed.
What happened with Comey is so much different. So much different. Ooh. Let's say I'm a Southerner running off to watch college football. Most Republicans here cheered for the Georgia Bulldogs. Okay, good for you. I didn't think football was on Friday nights. Is it at this time of night? Leaking classified information has a 10-year statute of limitations, so these guys are cooked. Yeah, they got a problem. And it was completely different what happened with Trump. We made the stuff up against Trump. They weren't real crimes like with Comey. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You think she's a Russian asset rather than Peppermint Patty? She did wear that hat. Mm-hmm. So the problem isn't on your end. It's some of the videos you're playing, not all of them, just some of them are quieter, and it's on the upload side. Okay, well, I try to turn it up when I can. This was great. C-SPAN's host fact checks a Dem caller who claimed James Comey did everything by the book. This is the Associated Press back in 2019. According to Inspector General, he violated policies in handling memos. The Watchdog's office said Comey broke the Bureau rules. Comey also failed to return his memos to the FBI after he was dismissed. So here, let's listen to this. This is a C-SPAN lady getting it on.
David in Maryland, Democratic caller. Hi, David.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me on. I think that, Comey, his record speaks for itself. He was a very honorable man who served his country. He did everything by the book. I think he was the prime example of someone you want to direct the FBI. Currently we have Kash Patel, who I think is a complete idiot. He's sick. He's a sick man in that position and unqualified. And for Trump to go after Comey at this point is very obvious, the trail that led up to this and his feelings about Comey. And the only mistake Comey ever made was getting involved with Trump.
Well, David, how do you respond to this? This is the Associated Press back in 2019. According to Inspector General Watchdog, Comey violated FBI policies in handling of memos. And this is what the Inspector General found. Violated FBI policies in his handling of memos documenting private conversations with President Trump. The Watchdog office said Comey broke bureau rules by giving one memo containing unclassified information to a friend with instructions to share the content with a reporter. Comey also failed to return his memos to the FBI after he was dismissed in May of 2017, retaining copies of some of them in a safe at home and shared them with his personal lawyers without permission from the FBI. Goes on to say the report is the second in as many years to criticize Comey's actions as FBI director, following a separate Inspector General rebuke for decisions made during the investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. It is one of multiple Inspector General investigations undertaken in the last 3 years into the decisions and actions of Comey and other senior FBI leaders. Now, David, you said Comey didn't make any mistakes.
Say something? Yeah. Okay. Well, what I'd like to say is that's course of doing business. Okay. And when Trump had all those documents in his house, Florida, Mar-a-Lago home, what about that? Did that ever get followed up on? What about all the things that he has done, making his own Bitcoin, about going after his political enemies? What about his selling cars for Elon Musk in the White House lawn? If any other president, especially Obama, if he did that, what would we be hearing from the Republicans?
Wow, from the Republicans. Oh, well, from the Republicans. Only Jim can read to you? Well, yeah, Scott Jennings says that when ex-FBI Director Comey was indicted, the weeping and gnashing of teeth from the nobodies above the law crowd could be heard around the world. Spare me your outrage. Okay. We're not going to listen to all this. It's 5 minutes, so we're not going to listen to all of it.
As for the reaction to all of this, the weeping and gnashing of teeth from the no one is above the law crowd could be heard around the world last night. If you've looked at any news sources today, you've heard the word unprecedented thrown around endlessly, which tells me that apparently nobody knows what the definition of that word actually is. But please,
thank you.
Spare me the outrage over political prosecutions.
Yeah. Cost of doing
All
business
of you
is
who
lying.
ever
Yeah.
Said, no one is above.
What's funny too? What's funny too is that guy, the caller, had no clue that there's a difference between the president of the United States and the head of the FBI. The president of the United States can declassify anything he wants, and if he takes something and leaves, that basically declassified it. Comey can't declassify anything. Doesn't have that authority to declassify stuff. Just doesn't work that way. Oh, he's a CIA Op Level 6, Section 2. I'm a GSG 39.
Of the law, or said that institutions of justice are sacred and cannot be questioned, or described Donald Trump as a 34 convicted felon. You know what I say? Choke on it. Just choke on it. Honestly, if you cheered the political prosecutions of Donald Trump on cases that were clearly novel and made up just for him, just for politics, choke on it. If you are lamenting today, whoa, this was 5 years ago, and yet you cheered on the criminalization of a liaison Trump had in 2006, choke on it. If you're whining about the use of process to punish people, but you cheer the use of process to cripple Trump, the candidate, Trump, the president, and his people, choke on it. And if you're worried about revenge, let me ask you a simple question. Revenge for what? Exactly. Whatever do you mean? Please elaborate. Do tell what it looks like when the criminal justice systems are weaponized. Another word of the day, weaponized against political opponents.
Yeah, weaponized against political opponents. What the hell? Stop it. Why does it keep doing that to me? Oh, this is good. Holy crap, Jesse Waters just bodied Jessica Tarlov as she whined over the Comey indictment. We really don't care what you say or what you think or how loud you're complaining because you guys did this. You started it and we're going to finish it. Oof. Ooh, oh, wow. I always like to hear Jessica Tarloff get made to look like.
Because he knew that you were a vengeful bunch of babies.
But who didn't get it? But who didn't get the pardon?
Comey missed out on the
Comey didn't get the pardon. So this is just the beginning. Everybody.
Preemptive pardons because he knew that you were a vengeful bunch of babies.
But who didn't get it? But who didn't get the pardon?
Comey missed out on the
Comey didn't get the pardon. So this is just the beginning. Everybody has to have their house in order. They got to make sure their taxes are right. They got to make sure they never lied to Congress. They have to make sure they never committed mortgage fraud. Because the difference here is these things.
Mortgage fraud. Oh.
Crimes.
Mortgage fraud.
When you lie to
Oh.
Congress, it's a crime. When you obstruct an official investigation, that's a crime. They didn't have to bake up some fugazi, untested, unprecedented law thing like Bragg. Oh, Eric Siebert. He's basically Comey's best friend. He got stuck in there.
Is that why Pam Bondi and
then
Todd
his
Blanche
son-in-law
defended
is
him?
in there. And then, like, all of Comey's, like, misfits are sitting in there. You get them out of there, clean out the scum, and put real people in there
Like
to
Kash
do the
Patel
job.
and Bondi.
Yeah, Cash Patel's a serious guy. And all he's doing is making it right. Now, Jessica,
Okay, he said he didn't know if Epstein ever trafficked anyone.
I'm not talking
that's
about
a serious
Epstein.
guy. No, that's about Cash Patel's seriousness.
We really don't care what you guys say or what you think
So just finish
or how
up, 'cause I
loud
got
you're
stuff to say.
complaining because you guys did this, you started it, and we're going to finish it.
Does this count as Jessica's time?
No.
I do want to get to an example of why.
Oh. Mm-hmm. And then watch, this is a good one. Ben Ferguson triggers the panel on Newsnight with Abby Phillips. Ugh. Reminds them of what Eric Holder said. Let's see here.
We live in a country where your oath is not to the president. But Pam Bondi made clear the president will decide what is in our interests, which means he will decide when to prosecute.
Eric Holder said, and I quote, "I'm still the president's wingman." Eric Holder brushed off questions Thursday about when he might leave the administration. Instead, the top lawman professed his allegiance to President Barack Obama. Let's not say it's unprecedented. You just said that every other attorney general acts a certain way. People around the president. That is Eric Holder saying, "I am the wingman of Barack Obama."
And can you give us an example of a prosecution that he...
totally out of context.
No, I'm not. I'm
taking it out of context.
saying my allegiance is not to the Constitution, as you just stated.
Hold
He's
on.
saying my allegiance is to the President of the United States of America, my wingman. I'm just going back. I didn't say my allegiance to.
Fast and Furious, that's the case. Fast and Furious. Does everyone remember Fast and Furious when Eric Holder refused to testify to Congress, was held in contempt, and nothing happened because the statute of limitations expired before anyone would prosecute him? Yeah, because they refused to do anything about it. It's weird, right? How they don't go after Democrats for lying to Congress or refusing to testify, but they went after Steve Bannon, they went after Roger Stone, they went after Navarro, locked them up, put them in leg irons. But Eric Holder, no. If you watch one thing tonight, let it be this. Oh, I think we already watched this. Yeah, I think we already watched this. Yeah, we already watched this. Right?
Comey didn't get the pardon. So this is just the beginning. But who didn't?
All right, no, we already seen this one. All right, I won't watch it again. Then Molly Hemingway says, but also nobody denies that Comey was the leader of the criminal Russia collusion lie, and to this point has never had any accountability for it. That's right. Comey was the head of the Russia collusion nonsense. He thought up and concocted, along with, there's probably communication somewhere of him communicating with people in Hillary's campaign, telling them, don't worry, we're going to take care of this. And yeah, we're going to frame Trump for Russia collusion. It's probably there. Yeah, Jessica has been getting spanked recently a lot, and she probably enjoys it. She probably likes a firm hand on the tiller, if you know what I mean. If you want to argue that you're uncomfortable with the Comey indictment, okay, fair enough. But if you're claiming this is unprecedented and shattered independence, you're an absolute hack. Some of us warned you breaking the glass and this would lead to. That's right, we told you. Didn't listen. Mm-hmm. And then busted. These testimonies are about a month apart. Comey lied under oath numerous times. All right, here it is. This is it right here. This is smoking gun evidence for all to see that Comey lied under oath.
Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
Never.
Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
No. I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
Director Comey, have you ever been?
Huh. Well, that kind of seems right there. That is cut and dry that he lied to Congress. He never corrected that first statement to Senator Grassley. Mm-hmm. In this case, it's God. I love this account. People who insist Biden would pardon Hunter after specifically ruling it out are telling on themselves they can't imagine someone acting on principle and keeping his word. In summary, the United States is now governed by a national administration of criminals, liars, thugs, racists, and religious fanatics. Huh, that's interesting. Huh. Mm-hmm. Joe Scarborough attempts to equate charging Donald Trump, the opposing party candidate at the time, with 34 felonies and charging James Comey, a disgraced former FBI director, with 2 that were on camera. They're not the same, Joe.
You do this, you turn the person you hate into a martyr. You make them bigger than ever. You unite people behind them. Donald Trump understood this in his own political campaign, and yet he's now making Comey a martyr for the rule of law. That will be the first line in his obituary. That he was an FBI director, but that he became a martyr because a president said on social media to an attorney general, "Go and arrest this guy," for the first time in our lifetime. And so now the world looks at James Comey and they see
a fucking liar,
a
perjurer,
political and a legal martyr. Nobody thought that way yesterday.
No, he's not a martyr.
They sure as hell are going to think that way today and
No,
tomorrow
they're not.
and into the future. And again, if you don't believe me, again, just go back to the 2024 campaign and look how the Republican Party was ready to move on to a certain Florida governor. And then the indictment started coming down against Donald Trump.
Okay, here, Joe, what you don't realize, the Republican establishment, that's the whole reason that Ron tried to run, is because they got in his ear. Guess what? MAGA was never leaving Trump. And there was nobody in the Republican Party that could fight MAGA, because MAGA is the majority of the Republican Party. Kind of got taken over. And the people that weren't MAGA left the Republican Party and went to where you went, Joe, to the Democrats, to the communists. Why does he look like he's smelling something really bad? I wonder if his wife stinks or something. Yep. Ron will never be president now. What an idiot. Never. He won't win election in Florida again if he was to run. He's term limited out. He can't run for governor, but if he tries to run for Senate or something, oba-doba, got a problem. Hey, Grip, what's going on? Nice to see you. Yeah. Sure are a lot of Dems switching to the right. Yeah, but the difference is that the Dems, the people that are coming over that came over like Tulsi and RFK and them, they couldn't stomach what the Dems had become, the full communists that they are. So the people like, the Cheneys that ran to the Dems, it's because they were never conservative. It was a lie. They were warmongers, and they went with the warmonger party. Johanna Mosca, I don't understand what Trump actually thinks he has to win out of this. You guys are setting up a dangerous precedent. Bust out laughing. I'm sorry, you think it was a precedent? You guys went pro-in on it. It's political persecution. They were spying on Trump. Yeah, let's hear this. Oh, this is going to be good. This guy, we got a couple of good guys over there on CNN.
Well, I just don't understand what Trump actually thinks that he has to win out of this. Because if he has to explain it while Americans are losing their jobs, he's not winning. So, you know, but the whole circle that you just did, you said if someone is, you know, guilty, then they should be persecuted. If they're not guilty, then they
Persecuted.
shouldn't. We don't know.
Persecuted.
Sure, but what's
Oh,
happening
persecuted.
here
Wow.
is you guys are setting up a very dangerous precedent. And no, I'm sorry. You think that we did all of the precedent setting. You think
You
that
guys went pro in it. And
President
political
Obama.
persecution.
I
Y'all
went
went
President
pro.
Obama. Yeah?
Yeah.
You think President Obama set up...
Were they not spying on Donald Trump's campaign?
Oh, my
yes
God.
or no? It is a fact that did they get
Oh, my God.
Yes or no?
Oh, my God.
Or it must be real,
So should
even
we
though
know
it wasn't.
what Russia is doing? Yes, 100%.
You accused Donald Trump of working with the Russians.
Hold on a
and you
second.
knew it was a lie.
All right, Ben, you lost your chance to respond because
tried
I
to work
asked you
with the
not to
Russians.
intervene, and
It
you
didn't
did.
work, but you tried.
Listen, let me.
Well,
You lost your chance because I asked you not to intervene. So why would anybody even go on this? Abby Phillips is a DEI hire who's a fucking moron. This will send a warning shot to Trump allies. The statement was made approvingly by a CNN reporter about Steve Bannon's indictment by the Biden DOJ in November 2021. The report consisted of a warning shot from the Biden DOJ. Tapper goes after Bannon. Wonderful that Garland took so long. Wondering what Garland took so long for. Let's see this. It's incredible to watch this propaganda press coverage in light of what we're seeing nonstop. Trump goes after his political enemies' framing of the Comey indictment. Tapper and CNN love Biden going after his political enemies, and they couldn't even pretend to hide it.
Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper, and we start, of course, with the breaking news. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon has been indicted by a grand jury. An arrest warrant, we are told, will soon be signed by a judge. The indictment coming after Bannon refused a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. Let's get straight to CNN's Jessica Schneider on the scene outside the courthouse. Jessica, what specifically has Steve Bannon been charged with?
Well, Jake, we now know that Steve Bannon has been charged with 2 counts of contempt of Congress, and the Department of Justice issuing a release saying that those 2 counts stem from his failure to appear for a deposition and also his failure to produce documents for the House Select Committee. So yes, now Steve Bannon, who was former chief strategist at the White House, indicted on 2 counts of contempt of Congress, 1 for refusing to appear for deposition, 1 for failing to produce documents. And of course, Jake, this will send a warning shot to the president's allies who have so far refused to cooperate or appear or may in the future refuse. This is a warning shot to them that the Department of Justice will and can move forward and charge people with contempt of Congress here. Jake?
That's right. I mean, we should note that Congress calls people to testify all the time, and, you know, oil magnates and tobacco company executives don't want to do it, but you got to do it. So Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, has been criticized for taking his time with this. Did he have anything to say today?
He did. He actually released quite a lengthy statement, courtesy of the Department of Justice. I'll read just a little bit about it because he talks about the fact.
I want everyone to remember Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, Roger Stone, they said we have executive privilege. Trump was the president, and our communications with the president are covered under executive privilege, which is a known thing, and it's just the way it is. The Biden said, nope, we're revoking the executive privilege. We're saying you don't have it. Doesn't have that authority to do that for a different president. So they're saying now that Trump, they could subpoena in all Biden staff and say, you have no executive privilege. We're making you talk now. And that works that way? No, it doesn't work that way.
That throughout this process, they've adhered to the facts and the law. He said, since my first day in office, I have promised Justice Department employees that together we would show the American people by word and deed that the department adheres to the rule of law, follows the facts and the law, and pursues equal justice under the law. Presumably, Jake, the Attorney General getting this statement out there right away for any possible criticism or claims that he's playing politics here. Throughout this process, the Attorney General has stressed the facts and the law, leaving it up to his prosecutors, of course, with input from himself as Attorney General. But he has let this process play out despite all of the cries of what's happening. Why isn't the Department of Justice moving fast enough? Today, the Department of Justice acted, the federal grand jury acted, handing down this 2-count indictment. And the Attorney General here sticking by his message that this was all about the rule of law and not politics. Jake?
All right, Jessica Schneider, thanks so much.
All about the rule of law, not politics. Oh, okay. Interesting. I was just checking to see, make sure nothing else came in. All right, we've been going an hour and a half. I just want to remind everybody who's here, please hit the like, If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I do these shows almost every night, usually at 10 o'clock, around there. Sometimes 9, sometimes 9:30, sometimes 10, sometimes 10:30. And I try to provide a good show to everybody. And so I hope you're enjoying it. You know, I do try to participate with the chat and talk to the chat. If you have a question or something, I try to answer and, you know, interact and do stuff and cover stories that other people talk about. So MSNBC reports that officials can no longer function, the DOJ and FBI, and they're set to resign as a result of the indictment against disgraced James Comey. Many in the DOJ feel they can no longer function. They have to leave. The same with the FBI. Oh, here's this guy. Look at him. It's this guy.
Feel like they have to leave because they see no way to preserve that dignity that you so eloquently described, Katie. And props to you for playing Frank Church on a Friday afternoon. That's great tape. We all the public should see that stuff. As a person who covered the intelligence community for a long time, but the post-Watergate norm that we're really talking about here did not emanate from the Church Committee, but it was of that time and of that ethos, and it couldn't have been established in law because the Justice Department is part of the executive branch. So you can't pass a law saying that the Justice Department is independent from the president on criminal law decisions. So they established that as a norm. And part of the way that norm was enforced is a sense of shame, a sense that if it was revealed that that norm was violated, it would be front page news in the New York Times and it would lead cable news and people would be embarrassed and there would be a scandal and Congress would investigate. And that's happened a few times over the years. That is all out the window now. There is no shame in the Trump administration. And in fact, they quite deliberately have shattered this norm. And Donald Trump has said many times that he is the chief law enforcement officer and he believes that he can order the Justice Department to do whatever he wants. Interestingly, though, he's also along the way tried to suggest that he's removed from it and it's not up to him because even he wants to preserve the notion that he is not pulling the strings here. Although when he put that post on Truth Social demanding that James Comey and others be prosecuted, that kind of lifted the veil a little bit. But they have shattered this norm, and many people who work in the Justice Department feel like they can no longer function there and are trying to leave. And same with the FBI. And they are worried about what comes next. They are worried about what they're leaving behind and who's doing those jobs now. But you know, it's a very personal decision. They feel like there's no reason to stay because if you stand up and try to fight against these things that are happening, you're going to have your head chopped off anyway. You'll be fired unceremoniously. And so, yes, almost everyone I talk to who has the ability.
Oh, so what he's saying is that if you don't do what the executive branch wants you to do as an executive branch employee, if you try to push back on the job you're supposed to do when you're there executing executive branch powers on behalf of the president and you're doing the opposite of what the president wants, that'll be a bad thing that you get fired, that somehow you should get to do that. Really? I don't know. Is there members on Congress's staff? Do you think a congressman has people on their staff doing the opposite of what they want? No. John Brennan rallies to James Comey's defense, insists that Comey is innocent. Comey should not be charged. I work closely with him. He's a man of integrity and honesty. Well, you're next, buddy. I hate to break it to you.
John Durham, the special counsel who investigated over several years and many, many millions of dollars and man hours, didn't find any reason to press charges against Jim Comey.
Actually, he said he broke all types of rules and stuff. He did. And what he said, yeah.
Bill Barr, the former attorney general in Trump's first term, also pushed back mightily against Donald Trump, saying there's nothing there. So again, all of the facts that we know of right now really say that Jim Comey should not be charged. I worked very closely with Jim Comey while he was director of the FBI and I was director of CIA. Jim Comey is a man of integrity, of honesty. I had some disagreements with Jim Comey about decisions or actions he took. That is natural. But I never had any doubt whatsoever that he was fully committed to the rule of law and a commitment to uphold his oath of office, which he has done. And so from the standpoint of projection in terms of this Trump administration, putting on Jim all of these labels and these allegations that I think are really hollow, it really, again, I think is more reflective of the Trump administration overall that is going to continue to follow Donald Trump's lead as far as on this revenge tour.
On the revenge tour. Oh, that's what they think. It's a revenge tour, huh? Oh, that's interesting. Where are we at here? Here we are. All right. What's the next one? So the filing of felony charges based on 5-year-old statement to Congress against a man whom Trump has identified as one of his chief political enemies underscores the extent at which Trump has shattered post-Watergate norms. That's interesting. Trump has not only ended the tradition, but he's bent the Justice Department to his will. What did DeSantis do? Well, DeSantis decided to skip the line and that he was going to push Trump out of the way and started actually attacking Trump. And what did it get him? Because some, lobbyists and some, establishment Republican types went and whispered in his ear and told him that you could do it. You could take Trump out. You don't need to do this. When did that happen? Oh, right before the primary started. Yeah, and if you listen closely, you'll notice no one's even attempting to argue Comey didn't commit perjury. They're not. They're talking about this is a 5-year-old felonies. No, no, not new. No. I mean, him and Trump seem to be fine, but it's the people, man. The people are pissed because of the shit he said for 2024. Yeah, just saying. His polling. There was polling. Put Comey in jail and let's move on. No, we're not moving on. There's a whole bunch more people that need to go to jail. Clapper, Mayorkas, Schiff, Letitia James, Fannie Willis and her boyfriend, Nathan Wade. I think quite a few more people. I got a list and it's long. Oh, they did. They patched things up now, but it's not a matter of Trump and him patching things up. It's a matter of the people. The people in Florida love him. Sure. The polling, he did polling to try and he was going to take the Senate seat and run. He wouldn't win the primary for a Senate. The polling is out. He wasted time, all the stuff he did when he should have been taking care of the state. He was running around. He just won re-election. He decided he's going to run for president. He spurned too many people in Florida. And he's fighting with the Florida Republicans now like crazy. Yeah, I live here too. And I'm telling you. People are fine with him as governor right now, but they're not going to vote for him again. He tried to push his wife. He tried to make his wife the next governor. Yeah. President Trump just dropped the mic. Are you worried a Democrat president will indict your FBI director?
President Trump, are you worried now that the next time there's a Democratic president, they will indict your FBI director or people in your administration?
That's what they tried to do, right? They did it with me for 4 years. They went after me. They went after me for 4 years, and that doesn't include the 4 great years that we had in the White House. So when I ran it from 2016 when we won, it began before I got to office. You know that. Wait a minute. Before I came to office, I started hearing rumors about Russia. I said, what the hell do I have to do with Russia? Nothing. And then it got worse and worse. And some of the fakers, not you, but some of the fake news picked it up and they loved it. And we went through a long time with that. And despite that, we had a great first term.
Because that's how it went, where they made you go and take a mugshot. Is this more about justice or is it about revenge?
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about justice. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. And Comey was one of the people. He wasn't the biggest, but he's a dirty cop. He's always been a dirty cop. Everybody knew it. And it's, as far as the case is concerned, he gave an answer. It was just.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, too, MAGA has less mercy than the Tea Party did, and we have JD who's way better. The Tea Party got infiltrated early with a bunch of really, really shitty fake people. I mean, think about it. Think about all the people that came in on the wave of the Tea Party. Joe Walsh, that guy who's now running around anti-Trump, all this crazy stuff. Paul Ryan. the Tea Party got taken, that basically was corrupted by the establishment immediately and taken over. So, it was a great movement, but it just didn't have the what MAGA has, just didn't. Oh wait, yeah, hit the like. There's 120 people watching, only 84 likes. Come on, man. Yeah. JD Vance will easily be the 2028. Unless something bad happens, JD Vance is going to skate right into 2028. I don't see anybody beating him. I really don't in a primary. Unless he does something comes out or something happens, something just, I just don't see it. Remember that, and James Comey, for the people that don't remember, James Comey was involved with Whitey Bulger, that whole thing, along with Mueller. These people were corrupt, man. Corrupt like crazy. Yeah, IRS, Obama used the IRS to go after the Tea Party. Yeah, remember? And then when that Lois Lerner, the one behind it, went in and had her statement and then pled the fifth, and then nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened. Just remember, his 8647 post wasn't some innocent beach art. It was a calculated threat from a corrupt insider who weaponized the FBI against Trump. A former FBI director doesn't get to play dumb with coded death threats. Conservative posted 8647 about a Democrat. They'd be in federal custody by sundown. Yeah. Vance Rubio, that would be a good ticket. It really would be. I mean, Rubio has surprised me. Rubio really surprised me that he's actually got some cojones. The Secret Service is right to investigate the swamp creature. Comey's entire career reeks of political sabotage. Dirty cops belong behind bars, not on Instagram. Oh, we saw this. Media Live says about this PBS C-SPAN host. The caller went on a tirade and responded with facts from the IG report. Yeah, we saw this already. Wow. Yeah, watch this. Merrick Garland flagrantly defied a congressional subpoena for the Hur tapes in the Biden classified docs case. The very week Garland sent Bannon to jail for defying a congressional subpoena. The Biden DOJ prosecuted Bannon and protected Garland because it was effing corrupt. Why can't here's a question. Why can't the Trump DOJ go after Garland for defying the subpoena? Did Garland get a part? Maybe they need to go after him too. Just saying. Dan Goldman doesn't care. He's got a representative seat because of his prior antics. That's right. Do I think Byron Donalds will run and win governor? Yeah, I do. Here's Dan Goldman saying, Bannon and Navarro flagrantly defied congressional subpoenas, and Joe Biden never discussed these cases with the AG. Oh, I'm sure he did. Trump fired the U.S. attorney who would not charge a meritless case and then publicly directed the AG to charge it. I don't know if Comey's innocent or guilty, but I do know that when the Biden DOJ indicted Trump aides, the Washington Post and New York Times treated it as straight news, not Biden going after his opponents, but now it's all about Trump getting his opponents. It was supposed to be Vance Kirk. That's why they really took him out. It's possible, man. You know what? Hey, Spuds, what's up? Yeah. Rubio is very eloquent and his diplomatic skills are off the hook. Yeah. It's possible. It's possible. Mm-hmm. We got this. We got Maya's Song, the former aide to Trump foe Lisa Monaco and part of the internal resistance to Comey indictment, has been fired. Oh, what do you know? The ABC News reporting that career prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia prepared a declination memo, reasons citing the DOJ should not pursue charges. So yeah, this is who was working there. Aide to Lisa Monaco. Part of the internal resistance. So they were the ones saying, don't do it. Or maybe it was Comey's son-in-law that worked there. And Mike Davis said the Eastern District of Virginia is full of Obama and Biden political operatives, and the federal prosecutors who leak their internal disagreements like this violate their attorney ethics and DOJ rules. One of U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan's most crucial tasks is firing them. After multiple sources reported that Comey had planned to surrender himself to the authorities this morning, he's nowhere to be found. Keep in mind that in 2019, he jokingly told Nicole Wallace from MSDNC that he would flee to New Zealand if Trump won in 2020. He's a flight risk. The DOJ needs to either get Comey on house arrest or have him remanded into custody immediately.
There was recently a New York Times article about how, well, I don't want to summarize it, but what sticks out to me is the picture. You're standing in your living room in a sea of toys. I mean, talk about your life and what you want for the country and for the end of this presidency. Do you want it to come sooner rather than later?
The change in this administration, yeah, that I'm optimistic that even if there isn't an impeachment proceeding and a removal from office, whether or not that happens, the American people are going to pass judgment on what kind of country we want to be. We have strong disagreement on policy grounds, and I hope there's diversity in policy here. I don't care what your views are. I hope you articulate them and defend them and listen and debate them. That's important. But we have something in common. And I said it when I said it with the first question you asked. We have a set of values that are at the core of this country that hold this place together. I try to explain to kids something that most of you know. We shouldn't exist. We don't have the normal human glue that holds this country together. We don't have common ancestry, common language, common faith. We have nothing in common except a set of values. That's the glue in the United States of America.
Oh, but wait a minute. The common language that we've had since the beginning and that we were supposed to have, it's always the same. The common faith is a belief in God. That's all throughout it. So it doesn't matter if it's, Christian or Jewish or even Islamic. It's a belief in God, or even Buddhist or whatever. As long as you believe in a God, that's what the basis of the Constitution is. You have to believe in some kind of higher power, some kind of higher being for it to work. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, he has a set of values that he'll sell to the highest bidder. Yeah, he just rewrote history. Yeah, he did. It's crazy, isn't it? He did. He rewrote history. We're almost done with this story. Just give it a couple seconds here. I got a couple more tabs for this story. And this person says, wrong. He was indicted by a federal grand jury in one of the most liberal jurisdictions in America. He committed serious offenses and was attempting to undermine democracy. Now he's being held accountable. Hopefully more indictments will follow. Now, everybody knows what's going on here. He isn't a bit subtle about it. This is payback, pure vengeance. Yeah, he was indicted by a grand jury of the people that make up the Eastern District of Virginia. So I have to think that maybe those people, if it wasn't like, here's the video of him lying and they go, oh shit, there he is, he's lying, that maybe they would have, covered it up. And then there's the story that we saw. The CNN host dismantles the caller's claim. We saw that. Then we got this. And then, okay, here we go. Breaking news. AG Pam Bondi just activated 200 joint terrorism task forces across America. It's time to activate the joint terrorism task forces. And Pam Bondi says, Eyewitness and continual onslaught of violence perpetrated against ICE officers across our country. The Department of Justice will not stand idly by in the face of such lawlessness. At my direction, I am deploying DOJ agents to ICE facilities and wherever ICE comes under siege to safeguard federal agents, protect federal property, and immediately arrest all individuals engaged in any federal crime. Pursuant to President Trump's recent executive action, I'm also instructing the joint terrorism task forces across the country to disrupt and investigate all entities involved and engaged in acts of domestic terrorism, including repeated acts of violence and obstruction against federal agents. The Department of Justice will seek to have the most serious available charges against any participants in these violent criminal mobs, including conspiracy, assault against officers, civil defense, disorder offenses, and terrorism offenses. While these never-ending attacks are designed to break our will, they only strengthen our resolve to complete the work we've begun. To that end, I have directed the FBI, DEA, ATF, United States MS to accelerate our efforts alongside Department of Homeland Security to locate, apprehend, detain, prosecute, and remove all illegal aliens present in the country. The rule of law will prevail. Wow, that's right. Let's go. Yeah, we're going to get to that story too. Let's. Federal agents have arrested an armed anti-ICE domestic terrorist at the Broadview, Illinois ICE facility. Only 48 hours after the Dallas ICE facility was attacked. This is a result of Democrat leadership's vile rhetoric against ICE.
About 200 protesters there on the ground. We actually had our law enforcement just confiscate a firearm from one of these protesters, or really rioters are what they are, as they're obstructing law enforcement vehicles from being able to enter that facility. And John, this is just 2 days after we saw that vicious, disgusting attack on our law enforcement facility down in Dallas, where one detainee was killed and two are currently in serious condition. And that psychopath opened fire indiscriminately on our ICE law enforcement, on the facility and on the van. And the fact that there is now a firearm, or there was a firearm there in Chicago, is very alarming.
Has that person been arrested, do you know?
I believe that person has been arrested. There's been about 17 arrests as of this morning, and I think more are coming.
All right, so let's talk about the president.
About 200 protesters there on the ground. We actually...
They need to stop screwing around. They just need to send the National Guard in, or the military, to protect these facilities. Obviously the mayors and the governor, Illinois, JB Prickster, that they're not going to actually do their job. So it's going to have to be done by the feds. Breaking: rioters are now screaming, "Shoot ICE, shoot the effers" at agents outside ICE's Broadview facility near Chicago. Why aren't they being arrested? Good question.
Shoot ICE! Shoot the fucker! Shoot the fucker! Arrest ICE!
And this is, I don't know if you guys know who Jim is. This is Moshi Moshi Man. This is Jim, Mr. Medicare says, Antifa still wants more blood. Doe says, the Broadview facility chaos is exactly why federal authority must be enforced without apology. Protesters threatening ICE agents with violence. They aren't activists. They're lawless agitators exploiting sanctuary policies. Chicago politicians grandstand. DHS faces Molotov cocktails, slash tires, and assaults. CNN reports 550 plus arrests under Operation Midway Blitz. The National Guard deployment precedent in LA provides decisive federalizing forces under Title X, crushed violent resistance, and restored order. If Illinois won't protect its own facilities or agents, the White House has both the duty and legal authority to act. This isn't about politics. It's about preventing federal officers from becoming targets in their own country. That's what I say. Get her done. The sickening chants of "shoot ICE" from the mob of over 200 violent psychopaths outside the Broadview Processing Center. This is transpiring just a few days after the horrific terrorist attack on the ICE facility in Dallas. A Joe Satriani fan? Yeah, why? Everyone loves Joe Satriani. Calling on Governor Prickster and Mayor Brandon Comey Johnson to tone down their rhetoric. Terrorism will never stop our mission. We saw this. I'm not going to play it again, of them screaming and saying the stuff. Come on. I'm trying to close tabs because I'm getting... the violent rhetoric against ICE agents is inexcusable. Days after a terrorist attack in Dallas, these mobs chanting "shoot ICE" aren't protesters, they're anarchists attacking federal law enforcement. Not that they are. Oh, man. I'm getting so sick. Opera just keeps screwing everything up. It keeps changing what I'm looking at. Moving things. Every time I move, I got to go back and I guess make some adjustments. Governor Prickster and Mayor Johnson spent years demonizing ICE as Nazi secret police fueling this chaos. Now they feign shock when their inflammatory rhetoric metastasizes into actual violence. ICE isn't the problem. Sanctuary politicians enabling criminal aliens are. Operation Midway Blitz removed murderers, child predators, and Tren de Aragua gang members. Every assault on ICE agents proves why we need mass deportations, restore order, protect officers, and remove those who spit on our laws. Just in, ICE agents are deploying tear gas to repel rioters at the Broadview facility outside Chicago. ICE agents should not have to waste their time with this bullshit. Just arrest these degenerates. What was that guy doing? Well, Miss Spoon, I will inform you that they have proof that they went to Cuba to train with the Palestinians that are in Cuba, training for revolution. So there's that. Well, that's going on. That's pretty cool. Not cool, but I mean, it is what it is. So, after what happened in Dallas, federal authorities should assume attempts to block in their cars like this are attempts to freeze them in place so they can be targeted by a sniper. I don't know if it's our government selling us out or if it's our government, certain people, or we have to realize that our government has been infiltrated by these communists, because that's based. Antifa is our communists. That's what they are. They're connected to all the communists, the international communists in Venezuela, in Cuba, in the CCP. The Palestinians are a bunch of communists too. They're all communists. Just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this stuff, any of this stuff that's going on like this, they all should be arrested. Like, what is this? Is that a guy or a girl here? What is this thing? Like, I wouldn't even be using pepper balls and stuff. I would be using straight up like beanbag rounds right to the face. But, you know, I'm crazy. I bring back make wood shampoo great again. Rioters at the Broadview facility are now being tackled and arrested. Oh, I think we saw this. Let's see. There's a longer video though. Let's see.
Why are you pointing your fucking weapon right at people, you fucking toad? What are you doing? Fucking trash unit! Trash unit! What did he do?
What did he do?
He's trying to deliver babies.
Yeah, I saw that too. I haven't been able to verify if it's true or not, Sunshine. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, water cannons would be great.
You more criminals will see your day. Enjoy your stupid little power. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Like Mr. Gunziger seems insurrectionish to me. Yeah. Protesters attempt to block a vehicle driven by an individual displayed a DHS badge from advancing towards the facility. Like any one of these people that are stopping this vehicle are breaking the law. They're impeding. They're hitting the vehicle. Look at this. They're violent. Wow. All these people should be arrested. Every one of them. Every one of them should be arrested. I mean, why isn't the FBI should be using facial recognition to identify every one of these people and arrest them? We know they have the technology. Arrest them.
I believe that we will win. 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 Fuck this thing. Fuck this thing. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
See, now, if this was happening in Florida, he could legally run everybody over. Because in Florida, they passed a law that said any of these mobs trying to stop your vehicle, just run them over. Run them over.
Fuck this thing. Fuck this thing. Fuck this thing. Fuck this thing. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Oh, and then all those people you see, he touched it with his bare hands, so he got his fingerprints and his DNA. Get him. Yeah, they all behave like the Hitler Youth Group. They do, but they got right there. You got his fingerprints and DNA. I'd get them. Get them.
Oh my God! You're pepper spray!
Yeah, pepper spray, pepper spray. Anti-ICE protesters get lit up with pepper balls as he tried to give a book to a federal agent. Agents shouted for him to get away from the fence. This isn't a game. Let's see. This guy's like coming up. These people are playing games like they think it's funny. Like, I don't know.
This isn't a game. Get back. You're goddamn right about that. Yeah, it's not a fucking game. You're a fucking waste on the fucking. You're a waste of our resources. You're a fucking waste. Fucking die.
These people, they're wasting your resources. Like, these guys pay any taxes? I guarantee they don't work. They pay no fucking taxes. They're sucks on the economy and on the everything. Fucking waste of our resources. What resources do they provide? The federal agents deployed tear gas and pepper balls during a clash with protesters outside the facility in Broadview. Protesters escalated amid Trump's Operation Midway Blitz. Key details from the event include the use of force. At least on 2 occasions, federal agents used tear gas and pepper balls to disperse the crowd. What do I make of the kid faking the kidnapping in Florida? I don't know. At first, I thought the story, I was like, oh my God, that's fake. He should get prosecuted if he actually did, if it was something that he did, if it was just, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I don't, he doesn't get a pass just because he's on our side. That's for sure. Maybe that's what they mean. You know what? But maybe you're right. Maybe they pay taxes on the Soros money, or maybe they mean they're wasting their resources, as in the money that Soros gave them that they want to use for other protests and stuff, that they have to waste it on this. Maybe that's what they mean. That's why they're wasting their resources. I don't know. As far as the kid with the kidnapping, I was going to do that story. I had it in there and I took it out because the reporting about it being a hoax and everything. I want to wait to get more information before I talk about it, because I haven't seen any reports directly coming from any sheriffs or anything like that. So I've just heard it coming from like people talking about it at first. Like the first stories were out there about supposedly him getting kidnapped by 4 guys in a van and everything. Like, where did that come from? Who put that out there? Is what I want to know. And so, yeah, Evanston Mayor Daniel Bliss, who's participated, said he was totally unable to breathe. You know, these people all need to go down. ICE agents should not have to waste their time with this bullshit. That's right. You want Bella's job? She doesn't appear to have any worries. Well, you should see her when she gets hungry. She gets really, really worried. Yeah, a few real ones, a few hot ones might change their thinking here. Former MSNBC political analyst Chuck Todd perfectly illustrated Democratic hypocrisy on his podcast. He pleaded we have to turn down the rhetoric amid the recent attacks on the facilities. Then in the very next breath, why are we masking the agents when they come after people? This is America. This is not jackbooted thugs. It's not what America's supposed to be.
Ever had, President Borat. But in all seriousness, so you got one side not believing it. Now you're going to use and politicize the Justice Department and the FBI. And there's already a Congressman, Mark Vesey, says, I don't trust anything the FBI says, right? They had overnight, we had another attack on an ICE facility. This is very troubling. And apparently it is people who are angry at ICE. It's certainly it's certainly politicized violence. And will everybody stop trying to decide whose side is more prone to violence? The fact of the matter is nobody's hands are clean, and violence is only going to beget more violence. All right. We have to turn down the rhetoric, turn down these things, right? It doesn't help, right? I'm not going to sit here and say ICE is bringing this upon themselves, but why are we masking the agents when they come after people? This is America. This is not jackbooted thugs coming in at that is not what America's supposed to be. And so all of this stuff is going to get met when you sort of govern in a nihilistic way. You're going to end up creating a lot of nihilists, and that's a very scary proposition for those of us that would like to live in free, normal America.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're self-destructing. Tell them the agents will take off the mask when Antifa does. See? Antifa wearing the mask. There they go. See? So I just want to point out to everybody, we've been going for 2 hours now. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. I just want to point out that the show is going to go for maybe about another half hour, like another 30 minutes, unless we meet the goal. We got about $35 to go to meet the goal. And if we meet the goal, I will add an extra hour to the show. For every $75 we take in, I add another hour to the show. That's how it works. I have enough material to go about 10 hours. Just saying. So keep that in mind. It says, stop the gaslighting. If he wanted to, he'd put his foot on the gas and actually ran a bunch of you over. You guys get in their way to obstruct them from doing their jobs and try to play the victim. It's pathetic. You're dishonest and trying to gaslight people. This is Kat Abu Ghazala. She's running for Congress in the Chicago area. And she's the one, a couple days ago, I played a video where she got pushed out of the way and fell on her butt. So it was funny. She's over here trying to, look at her. She should be arrested right here. This is her stopping the vehicle. It's what she's doing is against the law.
Up with liberation! Up with liberation! Down, down with deportation! Down, down with deportation! Up with liberation!
He should have stepped on the gas. Mm-hmm. Leftists are shouting, shoot ICE and shoot the effers at the ICE facility, arrest them all. Yep, she is a communist. She's a communist and like one of those PLO types. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, did Chuck notice that all those rioters were wearing masks that covered their faces? It's crazy, right? It's nuts. It is nuts. Just checking Rumble, nothing in Rumble. Nothing in there. Okay. Leftist terrorism is a real problem. Robbie Starbucks says, make no mistake, these are Democrats' most active activists. These are the people who will show up to their protests and rallies. This isn't the far left. This is their most rabid base. We have very serious left-wing terrorism problems. Mark my words, it's going to get worse. That's right. These are mainstream Democrats now. They're communists. The Democrats are now, anybody who's a Democrat is a communist now. All the people who aren't left the Democrat Party. Right? You know, January 6th, trespassers got years in jail for way less than this. Yeah.
Two streets! Fuck this thing! That we will...
Yeah, they should all be in jail. Yeah. Mass riders are blocking and attacking ICE agents' vehicles in the Broadview facility. It's time to send the National Guard. That's right. I'm not going to play most of this again. We're just going to keep going. I want to get through some more stories. I didn't realize this was just backed up. Stop the violence against American law enforcement. Trish, Ohio confirms today that law enforcement confiscated a firearm. I think I played this. We'll see.
200 protesters there on the ground.
Yep, we
actually had our law enforcement just confiscate a firearm from one of these protesters, or really rioters are what they are.
Yeah, confiscated a firearm. Staff Hernandez says it's a serious failure on behalf of the Trump administration. It is. The fact that ICE vehicles are still being mobbed and nothing is being done about it is quite frankly embarrassing. I agree. ICE agents were just shot at and almost killed, and the administration continues to allow this. Yeah, they have to stop. This has to stop. Mm-hmm. Sean Davis says that he doesn't understand the Trump administration's willingness to let this violence continue. I think it's a newer video. Let's see. Every once in a while I like to watch a little just to see them. Then there's this story. This is pissed me off. This is an ICE officer who pushed an unruly woman to the ground after detaining her husband and saying adios has been relieved of duty. This is crazy. Yeah, unacceptable. ICE officer relieved of duty. Yeah, get them into the system. That's right. Yeah, I saw the FBI fired a bunch of agents for kneeling at the civil rights protests. Yep. Well, I wouldn't call them civil rights protests. I would call them the 2020 Summer of Love riots. Watch, this is what happened prior to the infamous scuffle between the ICE agent and the illegal's wife. She was grabbing agents and attempted to physically block them from taking her husband. She should have been arrested. Enough of this BS. We're going to post a link to the JTF, but I had that Gundam Zig. That was earlier. I posted that at the beginning of the stuff talking about the riots. It was a Jack Posobiec post, and then the stuff from Pam Bondi. Let's see. This ICE agent got relieved of duty. Let's see.
Suerte, suerte, señora. Suelta la niña, 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 suelta la niña. No estoy haciendo nada. No estoy haciendo nada. No estoy haciendo nada. No estoy haciendo nada.
Yeah. Complete insanity. An illegal invader trips and falls while resisting a restraint of an officer, a conflict which she initiated, and he's the one punished for it. Everything wrong in our country, just in a nutshell. All right, ready? Watch. Watch what happens. All right, this guy got.
Come on.
Yeah, he didn't push her down, she fell. ICE has relieved from duty. This officer was forced to defend himself against the wife of an illegal who attacked him inside New York Immigration Courthouse yesterday. We saw that already. Watch these videos and watch them again. The agent was trying over and over to avoid conflict, but the hysterical illegal alien put her hands on him. And then Trish Ohio thinks his conduct warrants suspension. This is crazy, yeah. Yeah, probably have to do better with your picks. They cannot have illegals harassing, assaulting agents at will. Yeah. The agent fell down too. So see, we're here where her hands are on the agent and refuses to de-escalate. See her, look right there, grabbing him. ICE officers are being relieved of duty for properly handling aggressive protesters who are actively trying to obstruct the deportation process. An ICE officer who pushed a woman to the ground in New York has been relieved. So that's what they post this picture. He pushed her to the ground. He fell, she fell, and he fell on top of her. Yeah. This guy says, I'm pissed. Waiting to vote for you to fire ICE officers while letting protesters go free. This man needs his job back. This is crazy. Yeah. He got punished. Bondi needs to resign. What happened to we got your back? Yeah. Well, somebody showed the picture of the woman laying on the ground, and they went, oh my God, he pushed the woman to the ground, instead of actually saying, let's see the fucking video first. You know, that's what happened. Yeah. We are not, in fact, a serious country. People are shooting at ICE agents on rooftops. That's where we're at. Relieved of his current duties, the woman should be arrested for obstruction. The person who relieved this officer of duties should be relieved of their duties. That's right. Even Milo says, hey, could you think you could take a break from getting your effing nails done to reinstate this officer with full back pay and a public apology? Christine Holm, we expect to hear that this bitch has been denaturalized and deported too. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Will Chamberlain says, reinstate this officer ASAP. ICE agents are being threatened everywhere. They were shot at. The woman pushed to the ground here, put her hands on the ICE official, have their back. After at least 4 attempts and commands were given to her to back off, not to obstruct or assault him, deport her too. He had her hands all over him. You see the pictures, look at her, touching him, grabbing him. Arrest her. By come after you, Pambani means the officer you assaulted will immediately be fired. If you touch any law enforcement officer, we will come after you. Oh. The ICE officer has been suspended, did nothing wrong. He was getting physically assaulted. We are all over this, Trish Ohio. To every single anti-ICE coward who so much as lays a hands on a federal law enforcement, you will be hunted down. You will be found and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Unless it's that guy who's getting attacked in the hallway.
So we're really all over this. You mentioned the John Brown Gun Club earlier on, that this is something that this is an organization. It's very decentralized. It's quite much a militant organization. But this is something that's been on DHS's radar for a long time now. And we're going to work whole of government approach with the Treasury Department, Homeland Security investigations with the FBI to follow that money and see who's funding this chaos and this violence in this country.
I want to talk about the John Brown Club in just a moment, but first of all, you mentioned the various facilities that these Antifa-related groups have been showing up at. Let's put it up on the map here. ICE Dallas Field Office, Prairie Land, Texas, Knox County, Tennessee, Delaney Hall Detention Facility, the ICE facility in Broadview, Portland, Oregon, as you mentioned, Los Angeles. too many locations to be a coincidence?
No, I think absolutely. And that's why what we ran into when we came into this government is that we were seeing that there's a lot of silos, whether it be between Treasury and DHS or the FBI. And what President Trump and Secretary Noem and these other great cabinet agencies have done is they've really broken down those silos so that we have better communication between our intelligence so that we can stop these bad actors from really fueling violence in the country. And we got to harden our system. Secretary Noem, immediately after this attack on Wednesday of that ICE facility, she's been hardening our systems across the board, across the nation.
All right.
Okay. Will we have another hour? Well, that's up to the chat. That's up to you guys. I mean, we got about another 15 minutes to go, and we're about $35 short. So we'll see what happens. You know, we'll see what happens. It's up to you guys. And this guy says, "Why is he in trouble for what happened? Then put that bitch in prison and reinstate." Yeah, look at her punching him in the face, and he had to grab her arm. Yeah, look at this. This is what it says: unacceptable. ICE officer relieved of duty after video shows him shoving woman to the ground. That's not what happened. It's a lie. We saw the video. She tripped and fell. He fell on top of her. Well, here's this story. Family in Houston, Texas put a Halloween display up that has two MAGA mannequins wearing red hats being hanged from gallows topped by a Mexican flag. This hateful display will likely be inciting violence. It goes past free speech. Wow, this is crazy, right? I mean, it doesn't say MAGA on the hats, but we know what they're getting with there. Actually, I think those are supposed to be ICE agents because they got zip ties in their pockets. I think that's what they're supposed to be. Oh, this is just sick. Democrats are fundraising off the Dallas ICE facility being shot up. I don't know. She had her fist awfully close to his face. It looked like to me. Here's the Justice Democrats. It says, since Donald Trump took back the White House and launched his cruel mass deportation agenda, at least 17 people have died in ICE custody, including 2 detainees who were cruelly shot and killed by a gunman at the ICE facility. Well, here's the thing. When there is 50 times the number of people in ICE custody and being processed because they're actually deporting people and trying to get rid of them, more people are going to die than the 12 people that died during the Biden's year. You know? This is breaking. The Trump FBI, ICE, DEA, and U.S. Marshals have just conducted an operation to arrest 21 illegals in Wisconsin, 9 of which were complicit in sexually assaulting or trafficking young girls. This is who the Democrats are trying to protect. Sickening.
The parking lot behind the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office filled with federal agents early Thursday morning in these pictures posted online by the FBI's Milwaukee office. Officials calling it a joint operation with U.S. Marshals, ICE agents, and the Drug Enforcement Association. 21 people arrested, who the FBI says are in the country illegally. Authorities say 9 are suspected of sexual assault and/or trafficking young girls. The parking lot behind the Manitowoc County Sheriff.
This is Operation Restore Justice, exposed 205 predators nationwide, 115 kids rescued. 2 Wisconsin arrests, including an illegal alien trafficking minors. This isn't about politics. It's about enforcing laws, and Democrats refuse to prioritize these laws. Open borders invite predators. ICE raids save lives. Secure the border, deport criminals, protect kids. No compromises. Drug Enforcement Association. I thought it's the DEA Drug Enforcement Agency. Maybe it's the association. I don't know. Patriot Front Freds. Maybe. Who knows? Oh, oops. Oopsie daisy. Oopsie daisy. I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Can't donate. The CAD system for this channel thinks I'm buying a super chat in a foreign currency. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Months after a man was beaten unconscious with a metal bat and robbed outside a Pan Express in Florida, an illegal alien has been charged with the vicious crime. ICE agents would have arrested him sooner, but they've been busy dodging Democrat bullets.
This man has been arrested months after a violent armed robbery in South Florida. Miami-Dade deputies say they caught up with the suspect here, Jose Sanchez Merloa, this week. They say he attacked another man back in April outside of the Panda Express, located off of West Flagler Street near Galloway Road. The victim was hit in the head several times with a bat. That's according to deputies. Deputies also say the suspect then used the victim's cell phone to Zelle himself $300. The suspect's now facing several charges this morning, including aggravated battery. He's also facing an immigration hold.
Immigration hold. Here we go. Shot chaser. Oh, look at violent butts. A hold for immigration. We got this. Two of the monsters who opened fire on a children's baseball field in Katy, Texas, gained status and even citizenship under the Biden administration. Mustafa Mohammed Matagala and Ahmad Mawada ruthlessly opened fire, hitting the team's coach while he was leading a prayer. These individuals should have never been allowed in our country, and NOAA are working to prevent attacks like this from happening in the future. What do you know? The details are sketchy. It all sounds like they've been shooting all day. The charges sound like recklessness rather than intentionally shooting at anyone. Is there any evidence of intent? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Look at this. In a single law enforcement operation, local police arrested nearly 400 illegal aliens across central Florida. This is the same sheriff who vowed to shoot leftist terrorists graveyard dead if they attack law enforcement. It involved Florida Highway Patrol, Brevard Sheriff Wayne Ivey's office, and federal agents. Florida is crushing it. Amid anti-ICE riots and violence, Sheriff Wayne Ivey said this summer, if you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we'll be notifying your family where to connect your names because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play.
So I'm gonna break it down for you. All right. And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
That was pretty good, right? Got this. A senior ICE official tells Fox News that today ICE arrested the superintendent of the Des Moines, Iowa public schools. Dr. Ian Andre Roberts, who ICE says is an illegal alien from Guyana and an active ICE fugitive with a deportation order since May of 2024. Fox is told Dr. Roberts fled from ICE agents in his car once they ID'd themselves as immigration agents, speeding away, then abandoning his car. He was found in a brushy area 200 yards away with the help of an Iowa State Police canine. Per ICE official, agents found a loaded gun, a fixed-blade hunting knife, and $3,000 in cash in Roberts' vehicle. Per senior ICE official, Roberts first entered the U.S. in 1999 on an F-1 student visa at the St. John's University, was ordered removed from the United States on May 22, 2024, with proceedings being held in absentia. On April 24, 2025, an immigration judge in Dallas, Texas, denied a motion to reopen his immigration case. Fox is told Dr. Roberts also has a weapons arrest in 2020, though the disposition of that charge case is currently unclear. More details as they come. Prior gunshot. Here's the mugshot from his prior arrest. Oh, what do you know? Look at that. Huh. Yeah, that's right. Who hired him and vetted him? Obviously, see, that's the thing is they're not doing background checks. What this story keeps changing? Afuera. You're talking about this story? Keeps changing? It is a crazy story. There he is. He's got a criminal history, too. That's the thing. ICE just arrested the superintendent of Des Moines, Iowa schools, who is an illegal immigrant from Africa. He was armed and attempted to flee. He led the largest school district in Iowa. Our kids are not safe with Democrats in charge. Ian Andre Roberts will now be sent back to Guyana. He's an African who's citizen of Guyana. This the same difference, both places are famous for not being the United States of America. This is ICE arrested Des Moines, Iowa superintendent, illegal immigrant. He fled. He sped away. They said they found a loaded gun and a fixed blade weapon. There's the gun. Here's a newsflash. Illegal aliens are not allowed to have guns. The only people allowed under the Constitution, supposedly, I don't know what they say. Like, I don't know if I agree with this, but I'm just going to say it. What they've said is that you have to be a permanent lawful resident. So you have to have a green card at least, or be a U.S. citizen to have a gun in the United States. That's what they say. And there it is. Des Moines Iowa school boss got nabbed by ICE, now in jail, ran with a gun, overstayed his visa. Board's loss, picked an interim.
Thank you, Madam President. I stand here this evening before you with immense gratification and certainly a sense of pride and humility. I am incredibly grateful for the vote of confidence that the board has shown. It was clear to me. Thank you, Madam President.
We'll be sitting there with immense. Look at it's all women behind him. Look at it, all women. Here's the story. Des Moines Public Schools superintendent arrested by ICE. Public school superintendent was arrested by Immigration Customs Enforcement for being in the country illegally. Spokesman for Department of Homeland Security said he was arrested in detention. A final order of removal in May. Said Roberts abandoned his car and fled from police. He was arrested and described as a targeted enforcement operation. We do not have all the facts, this much we know, she said. However, we do know that he's an integral part of our school community since he joined 2 years ago. So they just hired him 2 years ago. They don't know all the facts, but he's been an integral part of them for 2 years. Earlier in the day, Associate Superintendent will serve as interim superintendent until further notice. Smith previously served as interim superintendent during the 2022-23 school year. Has not been formally notified by ICE about this matter. No one has been able to talk to Dr. Roberts since his detention. Well, how did they hire him? Jim said it before you could finish typing it. He's been a superintendent since July 2023. DHS says he lacked work authorization. He's a criminal legal alien. He sped away from officers in his vehicle and abandoned it, and then they found a handgun, $3,000 in cash, and a hunting knife. In response to reports of a loaded gun, and the district said that the policy dictates that weapons are prohibited on school grounds or at school-sponsored or school-related activity. The DHS says Roberts has an existing weapons possession charge from February 2020. It's not clear where those charges were filed or whether they were resolved. Records of those existing charges were not immediately made available. he has a previous firearm charge related to a hunting rifle that which he disclosed to the school board during his hiring process. He provided sufficient context and explanation of the situation to move forward in the hiring process. So they knew he was a criminal and they hired him anyway. Cool. However, the charge was from 2021 in Pennsylvania. He said that the district had a third-party comprehensive background check has been conducted and that he would have been required to verify employment eligibility for all employees. Oh, really? He completed the I-9 employment eligibility verification form and submitted the required documentation. So he had stolen documents too? That's what seems to be going on, is they're providing stolen documents. And everyone goes, oh, okay, cool. It says he grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Before a career in education, he competed in the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games for Guyana as a mid-distance runner. He entered the United States on a student visa in '99. So how the fuck can they say he grew up in New York? If he entered on a student visa in '99 and competed in the 2000 Olympics, how did he grow up in New York? Somebody's lying here. Yeah, you can't be a janitor with a gun charge, even hunting related. Yet he gets a $3,000 job easily. It's crazy, isn't it? It's nuts. Yeah, it does. It sounds like many levels of fraud. It really does. But, you know, it's who we got working in the federal government. So he was arrested in possession of a loaded weapon and a vehicle provided by the Des Moines schools. So he had a company, school district vehicle too. It should be a wake-up call for our communities and our officers, the work our officers do every day to remove public safety threats. How is this illegal alien hired without work authorization, had a final order of removal and prior weapons charges is beyond comprehension and should alarm parents of that school district. DHS also accused Roberts of violating federal law by possessing a handgun while in the U.S. without legal authorization and said it was referring him to the BATF for further investigation. DPMS chose to paddle together. So that's that Des Moines Public Schools. The chair said that Roberts received a valid license from the Iowa Board of Education Examiners in 2023 before beginning his tenure. So they just gave him a license. They probably just, here you go, here's a license, because, you know, they didn't have enough black guys maybe. I don't know. It said there is a new information that has been made public, but that the board has not been able to verify additional details. The interim superintendent acknowledged concern and alarm. We too are devastated. The district will continue working hard to serve the students. He initially was held in Iowa jail and listed as a detainee at Potawatomi County Jail. Iowa jail would have put him in close proximity to the Omaha Immigration Court, the closest federal immigration court to Des Moines. Yeah, you can't even volunteer at schools unless they do a complete FBI background check. Yeah, well, you know, not there. It said Des Moines Mayor Connie Boesen said in a statement the city officials and the police department did not have advance notice that Roberts was to be detained. Yeah. And that the city of Des Moines is learning of his detainment alongside the rest of the community. At this time, we do not have any additional information. Iowa Department of Public Safety said in a news release that troopers were called by ICE in help locating an individual who fled from a traffic stop. Mason Morrow, spokesman for Governor Kim Reynolds, said in a statement that Reynolds was informed that Roberts was taken into custody by ICE agents. Reynolds is in contact with Iowa Department of Public Safety and federal authorities. His supporter Ian Roberts, Supporters React, a council and umbrella group for several nonprofits focused on Des Moines' Black community, said in a statement that Roberts is a valid member of our board and is seeking the details on the circumstances. He's been a trusted partner and a dedicated advocate for equity. There it is. Equity, see? Equity. And we stand with him during this uncertain moment. Yeah, white liberal women with big glasses hired him for sure. Founder of the local nonprofit Des Moines Refugee Support said she was stunned when she learned the news and that her phone blew up. And from families and asking, nothing's going to happen to Dr. Roberts, right? No, he's going home to his own country after a prison sentence, hopefully. You know, it's the black and brown kids who are worried, she said. Oh, okay. If he can get in trouble, what does that mean for them? Are they in the country illegally? No Iowan is safe. We're living under a fascist regime because Nunn, Miller, Meeks, Hinson, and every single member of the Iowa. Who the fuck is saying this? Said Stillwell. President Trump is willing to use political power against anyone who disagrees with him. Yeah, Representative Ashley Hinson. Roberts is a dangerous fugitive and should be deported. U.S. Rep and Senate candidate Ashley Hinson called for Roberts to be deported immediately. ICE arrested the superintendent, an illegal alien, an ICE fugitive. When they caught him, he had a loaded gun. He should have never been anywhere near Iowa kids in the first place. U.S. Rep Zach Nunn, who represents the area, includes DPS, said in a statement that he stands with our law enforcement officers who uphold public safety. Unfortunately, citizen lines today underscore why we must fix our broken immigration system. An individual with prior weapons charge and active deportation orders should never have been placed in this position of public trust. It sounds more like you need to fix the shit in Iowa. My office has opened more than 800 cases to help Iowans navigate immigration issues and continue to do the work. Oh, so this guy's helping. This guy's a scumbag helping him stay. Yeah, I blame white women too. Iowa Rep. Larry McBurley, a Democrat, says he was furious to learn about his arrest. Well, of course, a Democrat's furious to learn about an armed illegal alien getting arrested. It's unacceptable. It's outright disgrace. Our schools should never be treated as political battlegrounds. What the fuck are you talking about? Why are you letting illegal aliens, armed illegal aliens, into schools, you dummy? Yeah, the dude was playing GTA on a $300,000 salary. Yeah. Yeah, the Giffords group will classify this as another gun crime on campus. Yeah, definitely. Oh, man. No, we got 10 minutes left in the show if we don't hit the goal, folks. That's the way it is. Sorry. Unknown to the Chicago Antifa terrorist cell leaders, violent twin brothers Jeremy and Jason Hanmund walked into a trap. The feds were ready and waited for these punks. They were arrested just after this.
Move! Move out of the way! Move! Go!
Get in the way.
Go!
Get in the way. Get in the way.
Go!
Get in the way.
Go! Go! Get out of the way! Go!
Stop, man. Stop. Run out of the way there.
I'm a friendly! I'm a friendly! I'm a friendly! Ah! I'm a friendly! I'm a friendly! Please! I'm a friendly! Okay? Sorry!
They'll cover that up just like they do with all the rest of them. Another mom says, check your cash app. Okay.
I'm a friendly! Go,
Okay.
please!
Well, I guess we're staying another hour because I just got $35 on Cash App. Thank you very, very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. Okie dokie. So we hit the goal. Now we're on to goal 2 for another second additional hour. Thank you. I checked it. I got it. Who, me? Am I happy now? No, I wanted to go to bed. Yes, thank you, another mom. Ay. All right, just to keep things on the up and up, I'll start a new goal for the next hour just in case people decide they like what's going on and they want more stuff. So it's amazing to me. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, no. I was just kidding. I'm very good to go another hour. No problem. Like I said, I could go. They did, and I guess they got him and arrested him according to what that said. So. Wearing an eagle and flag will not help you. You were charged in Denver with second-degree assault. Since then, you've been arrested 3 times. You're in this country illegal, and Denver is safer with you gone. FBI Denver continues to assist ICE.gov. I am a friendly. Yeah, that doesn't work that way. You shouldn't be there when that stuff's going on. It doesn't. They can't tell who you are. So yeah, this guy got arrested. What do you know? Going away. And then this is breaking on it. Democrats in Des Moines have come out in support of the superintendent who was arrested by ICE. A fugitive working illegally in the country who fled from law enforcement found an illegal firearm. The reporter couldn't even show some of the signs because they were filled with profanities directed at ICE. And mind you, Democrats brought their young children to this unhinged protest. Just like that, it seems Democrats no longer prioritize enforcing gun laws and ensuring the safety of school children. What do you know? Oh, look at it's all women. What do you know?
As you can see, hundreds of people started gathering outside downtown right here at 4 p.m. today for Dr. Ian Roberts, the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, who was detained by ICE this morning. This protest has been going on for about an hour now, and while at times it's gotten very intense, it has remained peaceful. I can only show a select amount of signs, ones that don't have profanity on them, but many of them saying that they want Dr. Roberts freed and against ICE.
What do you know? So what do you think? Are these all teachers? These all teachers coming out to support this guy? With his gun? Los Angeles, California protesters being bussed in, paid for, and organized by Service Employees International Union. The Service Employees International Union has donated $232 million to federal campaigns, with 99% going to Democrats. Here they are bussing in protesters. Ready? SEIU, look at that. SEIU, oh. See, that's what's happening. Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Essay says, assaults and doxing of federal agents must stop. We will aggressively pursue criminal charges against those engaged in this unlawful behavior. Today, we unsealed a federal indictment charging 3 women, 2 from Southern California and 1 from Colorado, with following a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent home, live streaming their pursuit, and posting the victim's home address on Instagram. Each defendant faces 5 years in federal prison. I didn't know. I didn't know that was a crime. Federal grand jury charges 3 women with following ICE agent's home and live streaming his home address on Instagram. I wasn't sure that was a crime. Like, that's a crime? Is it? I mean, I don't like it, but is that a crime? It's a bus filled with your ex-wives. Oh, that is kind of crazy. This is a good story here. Justice Clarence Thomas said the Supreme Court should take a more critical approach to settle precedents, saying decided cases are not the gospel, and suggested that some may be based on something somebody dreamt up and others went along with. There you go, Clarence Thomas. I wish we had 9 of him. Yeah, they're getting rid of Obergefell. Probably what he's talking about. The FBI just fired agents who were photographed kneeling during the 2020 George Floyd riots. Good riddance. Yep, remember all these FBI agents? Look at them. How did these people become FBI? How did this person become an FBI agent to begin with? This one in the middle. Or any of these. No way they look like FBI agents. FBI Director Kash Patel just fired the agents who kneeled during the George Floyd riots. Yep, get rid of them all. They thought it was funny. Oh, it looks like they're all women too. That was weird, right? All these women out there, they think it's funny. Here's some material for you guys. Also, you should collaborate. You know, you're going to get along. This is the sex dungeon. Former Soros manager arrested. Yeah, I have this story. But I didn't get to it yet. So we're going to get to it now. Let me Let me pop this open here. I got to open some more tabs. Okay. Do this. Hold on. Pull this over here. No. No. Stop. All right. Okay, here we go. No. Sorry. I'm okay. I was pulling up some opening new tabs. I'm sorry for a new story. One of these things is not like the other. I was just thinking that. What? Jim, stop looking at the boobs. No. I was opening new tabs. Sorry. I'm not wasting minutes. Time is money. Let's go. Hey, relax. Soros-backed Florida State Attorney Monique Worrell refused to prosecute a 61-year-old man who masturbated in front of children and dismissed a case against another man who possessed and shared videos of rape of infants and toddlers. I can't believe that string of words is being uttered in the red state of Florida. Soros is a cancer on America. Prosecute them all. Heinous acts that endanger kids. Do your job and enforce the law. The Florida State Attorney Monique Worrell declined to prosecute a man pleasuring himself in front of children at a park, is now defending her decision, saying that while the suspects are wrong, they're not illegal. So she says it's not illegal to do what this person did.
All things that are wrong are not illegal. And I'm not standing before you today telling you that what happened in that park was wrong. But I am standing before you today telling you that I trust the word of the attorney who was assigned to this case when he said, although those actions were wrong, he could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they were illegal. All things that are...
He couldn't prove that they were illegal. The state attorney who declined to prosecute also dismissed the case. AG has a scathing letter to ensure justice is served. And I just want to point out, too, that this woman was already removed once by Ron DeSantis, removed her. As the governor has the power in Florida to remove state's attorneys for not fulfilling their oath. She sued, it went up to court, and the court said, yeah, no, he can remove you. So she got removed once. And he needs to remove her again. Yeah, step it up, Florida. You can do better. Definitely. Yeah. Florida-backed Marique Worrell says man masturbating is not illegal. Let's see.
All things that are wrong
Oh, we
are
saw
not
this. Are not illegal. Okay. She also claims she didn't drop the charges against the man accused of possessing and sharing child porn. The only problem is her office literally signed a motion to drop the charges. Yeah. She went on TV shortly after the AG's press conference and claimed that her office didn't drop the Dolgos case. Anyway, here's the motion signed and filed. Says the state attorney filed a no information notice. Mm. And this is the Florida Attorney General says, nope, it's quite illegal. State Attorney Worrell declined to prosecute a 61-year-old man who masturbated in front of children and dismissed the case against a man who possessed and shared videos showing the rape of infants and toddlers. Heinous actions that endanger kids. Do your job, enforce the law. Well, these are letters. They're writing letters. Yeah, you would think it's a sex offense, right? You would think so. Yeah. Yeah, Ron is going to have to do it again. He already removed her once. I think I have it here. And this guy says public masturbation is illegal in Florida. It can be prosecuted under two main statutes: first degree misdemeanor and a second degree misdemeanor. There's the statutes. Here's the statute she can't find. Please do something if she thinks it's legal. She needs to go. And this is interesting. State Attorney, 9th Judicial Circuit of Florida, with interruption. Elected in November 2020 with a focus on reform, including prosecuting serious crimes while addressing root causes like addiction and mental health. Suspended by Ron DeSantis August 9, 2023 on grounds of neglect of duty and incompetence related to policies on drug trafficking and juvenile justice. Challenged the suspension in court, which was upheld by the Florida Supreme Court in 2024. Was reelected in November 2024 with 57% of the vote against Andrew Bain, sworn in for a second term in January. So she's doing the same shit again. Lather, rinse, repeat. Yeah. So, I mean, these people in that district are getting what they voted for. We got this as a money manager, Howard Rubin, arrested on sex trafficking charges. Famed money manager was arrested in Connecticut on charges of sex trafficking and transporting women across state lines for commercial sex acts. Rubin is accused of participating in sex acts with women in luxury hotels and later a rented penthouse in Manhattan. Oh, he's connected to George Soros. His right-hand man is sued by 6 women accused of beating and assaulting them during kinky BDSM sessions at Manhattan apartment sex dungeon. Why would they go to a kinky BDSM sex dungeon and not expect at least a little slight beatings? We never thought he was creepy based on that face, right? It's actually the other story that needs to go here. Needs to go here. This needs to go here. Yeah, so no. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Patrick Seven sent me this material for you guys. This story. Here it is in the Zero Hedge. Sex Dungeon, former Soros fund manager arrested on allegations of sadistic abuse. He was taken into custody Friday morning in Fairfax, Connecticut. 10-count indictment unsealed in a Brooklyn federal court. Sex trafficking at least 10 women. Between 2009 and 2019. Rubin reportedly spent $1 million on said activities. He's been charged with bank fraud related to false statements on financial documents. As alleged, defendants used Rubin's wealth to mislead and recruit women, where Rubin then tortured women beyond their consent. One of the West 57th Street penthouse bedrooms was soundproofed and painted red and had a device that was used to shock and electrocute the women. They also had a cross and bed with restraints. Oh, they had one of them St. Andrew's cross, right? Is that what's called? St. Andrew's? Something kind of cross where the women would be bound and gagged. Rubin gagged and tied up the vicious, abused women, and I'm going to rape you like I raped my... What? He beat one of the women's breasts so badly it ripped her right implant flipped. Yeah. You bet Soros knew Epstein? Probably. One plaintiff was tied up. Some of the women agreed to a safe word, and Rubin allegedly ignored it. I don't care if she screams. He planned to abuse for hours. He also reportedly referenced Disney movies like Jess Stanley with Epstein and telling the alleged victims that rape was natural, referencing Beauty and the Beast. So in the movie, Belle was clearly ready to have sex with Beast before he turned back into the human. What? What's going on here? Am I missing something? 2009, he initially used luxury Manhattan hotels and then leased a sex dungeon penthouse. Howie. Soros fund manager. His personal assistant, Jennifer Powers, is also facing sex trafficking charges tied to her boss's proclivities. Oh, so just like Epstein had an assistant helping. She recruited women along former Playboy models via social media and prostitution networks, arranged flights and accommodations, secured NDAs, BDS equipment, managing payments. One text, Rubin allegedly texted Powers that he had a woman tied to the cross, which Powers lied. I can only imagine what you did to her on that cross. Did you shock her pussy? Wow. Rubin reportedly replied he did and complained his electrocution device is losing strength. Wow. Happy Rosh Hashanah, those who celebrate, by the way. Where's the big meat grinder? I don't know. In June 3rd, 2020, he emailed a financial statement, co-signed Powers Mortgage, answering no to are you a party to any suit or unsatisfied judgment, despite the ongoing civil case brought by the Playmates. Powers emailed a renewed statement signed by Rubin, which also did not disclose the lawsuit. So they're saying because he didn't disclose this lawsuit that's bank fraud. It seems there's many Epsteins. It sure seems that way, doesn't it? You can see that he likes to get beat up. Look, he's got a black eye. Wow. 666 stuff here. And then we got this. It says, a new report has just been released that shows George Soros' Open Society dumped over $80 million into terrorist and pro-terror groups. The evidence is stark. Open Society sent millions of dollars into U.S.-based organizations that engage in direct action that the FBI defines as domestic terrorism. Full report in the comments. I have this, so we're going to pull up the story first. Capital Research's story. Exclusive. Soros' Open Society gave $80 million to pro-terror groups. Since 2016, George Soros' Open Society Foundation, now run by his son Alexander, has poured $80 million into groups tied to terrorism, extremism, and violence. How old is who? Soros? He's up there. The evidence is stark. They sent millions of dollars into organizations that engage direct actions. These groups include the Center for Third World Organizing and its militant partners, Ruckus Society, which trains activists in property destruction and sabotage during the 2020 riots. The Sunrise Movement, which endorsed the Antifa-linked Stop Cop City campaign, which activists currently face over 40 domestic terrorism charges and 60 racketeering indictments. And at the same time, Open Society awarded $18 million to the Movement for Black Lives, a group that co-authored the radical guide that glorifies the Hamas October 7th massacre, instruct activists in the use of false IDs, blockades, and economic disruption. Nor is the danger confined to American streets. Open Society's funded more $2.3 million to Al-Haq, a non-government organization based in the West Bank, and a Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, which the European Union and the United States designate as a foreign terrorist organization. So if they're funding foreign terrorist organizations, isn't that against the law? Don't we charge people with crimes for that? Yeah, Soros is up there in age. He's got to be in his 90s. The remainder of the report, click below. Here's the report. Since 2016, they've funded over $80 million to groups tied to terrorism or violent extremism. Their philanthropy blurs into complicity, fueling groups that celebrate violent uprisings, train militants, and endorse terrorist movements. The finding raises urgent questions for Congress, federal investigators, the IRS about whether their flagship foundation and its grantees can continue to operate with tax-exempt status while bankrolling criminality at home and sanctioned entities abroad. These are entities that are sanctioned that they're funding. So it seems like won't I get demonetized for saying some of those words the YouTube guys don't like? As long as the stream goes longer than 3 hours, generally speaking, they don't really bust you on those words because it's like a thing. And you don't, as long as you don't say them in the first half hour to 40 minutes or something like that at a show, and then you could say a few of them, and as long as you're not like screaming them and yelling them, you'll be all right. It seems like I haven't had a problem yet. I haven't had, knock on wood, I haven't had a stream demonetized. My dog just went to go see who was knocking, so that was intelligent of me, wasn't it? I haven't had a stream demonetized in a while. So, yeah, so we will strive to present a complete picture as possible in our grant making. Grantees that directly assist domestic terrorism on U.S. soil. Open Society, $23 million to 7 groups that engage in or materially assist violent property destruction, economic sabotage, harassment, and other criminality that meets the FBI's definition of domestic terrorism. Yeah, she's out there looking for who was knocking. Grantees have endorsed terrorist attacks like that. So this is Soros, man. This is Soros, and this is something's got to change. Something has got to change. I'm closing some tabs. Give me a second. And then we got this. Oregon's Antifa legal group CLDC, which is funded in part by Soros's Tide Center, has filed a motion to try to prevent Meta from responding to a subpoena by ICE to unmask the far-left militants who run doxing site StopIce.net. The CLDC, headed by Lauren Regan, advocates for Antifa terrorists like trans Antifa school shooter Charles Landeros and violent Portland Antifa ringleader Alyssa Azar, and is also represented 2 Antifa militants I sued in NGO versus Rose City Antifa et al., John Hacker and Elizabeth Richter. The CLDC is partnering with the ACLU to try and protect the members of the cell running the conspiracy to obstruct ICE duties. Yes, that's the son that married Wiener's ex-wife. They are freaks. Yes, it is. You heard he's too big to go after. People are afraid of him. Nobody's too big to go after. Civil Liberties Defense has filed a major new challenge to ICE's authority. Our client received a notification that they have been served with ICE subpoena seeking extensive personal information related to our client's Facebook and Instagram accounts. Does not have the authority to conduct independent criminal investigations, especially not of U.S. citizens suspected of non-immigration related crimes. Our client runs StopIce.net, a website that tracks and monitors ICE activity. Is one of 6 people named in the subpoena. They're partnered with the ACLU. Yeah, the anti-American civil liberties, non-civil liberties are against America. Yeah, so this is the guy right here, Civil Liberties Defense Center, anti-fascist. So they're Antifa. So if he's Antifa, he's a terrorist. So, you know, John Doe. The defense team for violent Portland Antifa is led by Lauren Regan. Regan is an Antifa attorney who heads the Civil Liberties Defense Center. Yep, these are them. Activists. Oh, check this out. This is going to make you guys very upset, so I'm sorry. New video shows a registered sex offender visiting a water park for kids with disabilities and a playground at Fairfax County Rec Center, a place that also has a preschool. Fairfax County Police knew about it, but didn't file charges.
A disturbing update tonight that you'll see only on 7 News about a familiar registered sex offender here in Virginia. As you may remember, this man, Richard Cox, was convicted and sent to prison for victimizing young children and possession of child pornography in the 90s and in 2007.
And now in a 7 News exclusive new video of that same sex offender visiting popular playgrounds in Fairfax County where sex offenders are not allowed within 100 feet. And tonight, our Nick Minock has evidence that Fairfax County Police knew about this, but charges were never filed.
I've been reporting on this person for a long time now. A biological male. Richard Cox claims he's a woman, which in many communities gives him free access to women's locker rooms and bathrooms. However, anytime he shows up to a day program for children, he's breaking the law in Virginia. However, Fairfax County PD has not arrested or charged Cox for his visits to rec centers. So I asked the police chief, why not? New video shows registered Tier 3 sex offender Richard Cox walking out of Fairfax County's Our Special Harbor Spray Ground, a water park designed for young kids with disabilities, and walking in the direction of Chessie's big backyard playground. As you can see, these are popular places for kids, and on the day this video was shot last August, a ton of kids and families were there. There's also a licensed preschool at the rec center. Cox is not allowed within 100 feet of a child day program. But the Fairfax County Police Department never arrested or charged Cox for this visit, nor did they charge him for entering the women's locker rooms at Oakmont Rec Center, Audrey Moore Rec Center, and Franconia Rec Center. That's where
says it's WJLA. I don't know what that was, some local Fairfax, I think, TV station, WJLA. You'd have to look it up. I don't know.
witnesses told police Cox, who remains biologically male, exposed himself to women and girls. According to emails obtained by 7 News, police officers working the case gathered evidence to prosecute Cox, but no arrest was ever made. Sean Kennedy is the president of Virginians for Safe Communities, which uncovered this new video and police emails.
The sex crimes unit at Fairfax County Police, as is demonstrated by these records, worked hard on this case for months to make an arrest. And that's unfortunate that all their work went for naught, and this man went on to victimize more people in Arlington County.
After months of trying unsuccessfully to get an interview with Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis, I attended a press conference where he announced the arrest of more than a dozen men charged with soliciting minors for sex, which seemed like an appropriate place to ask why his department never arrested Richard Cox. In response to my question, Chief Davis read a lengthy written statement, which included the following.
On November 3rd, 2024, and he was in a shower in a locker room, taking a shower, and the policy of Parks and Rec allowed him and other persons to, and I'm reading this verbatim, to use the locker room of the gender that they identify with. So a crime was not committed. So he was not arrested by Fairfax County police officers. When we don't have probable cause, we don't arrest.
Which Davis says explains why Cox was not arrested for indecent exposure. But it doesn't explain why he wasn't arrested for being too close to a children's facility.
It is untrue to say he did not commit a crime. Richard Cox's mere presence at a child care facility and a public facility that caters to children is a felony offense.
This is why we've continued to cover this story. Arlington County law enforcement charged and arrested Richard Cox for nearly identical crimes, but Fairfax County has refused to take action against a Tier 3 sex offender who in these videos clearly appears to be violating the law. We will continue to
Clearly appears to be violating the law.
Nick Minock, 7 News.
And you can watch that exchange between Nick Minock and Chief Davis, including the Chief's entire reading of his written statement on that issue of Richard Cox. That's on Nick's X account.
Yeah, so there's that. And great reporting. Thanks for staying on a story. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see here. We got this one says, right now, registered sex offender is in Arlington court hearing where women are testifying that they saw him naked in the Arlington high school girls' locker rooms. Cox says he's a woman and asked the judge to tell the prosecutor to stop misgendering him. The judge said no. One woman testified that when she walked into the Arlington school girls' high school locker room after swim class for her young daughter, she saw Cox masturbating in a shower stall with the curtain open. She said her young daughter was with her when she saw him touching his erect. Yeah. Ew. Arlington Public Schools allows people to use locker rooms and bathrooms based on their gender identity. New video shows visiting water park for kids with disabilities. Yeah, we saw this. This is the one we just watched. Yes. And this is a bombshell. Arlington detective testified today that registered sex offender who says he's a woman and was allowed to use the Fairfax County women's locker rooms had Fairfax County Rec Center's children's swim class schedules on his phone, so he knew when kids would be at the rec centers when he visited. Despite that, Fairfax County leaders, police chief and Commonwealth attorney, refused to charge Cox for allegedly exposing himself to women and girls in the women's locker rooms. Today, the Arlington detective also testified she found child porn and child sex material on his phone. An Arlington prosecutor said this speaks to Cox's motive as to why he visited the girls' locker rooms. Why hasn't Fairfax County charged Cox for his rec center visits? WJLA local. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you know that thing that they say never happens, it's happening again. Yeah. So here's the story from these people. Mm-hmm. Right here, witness testifies against sex offender accused of Arlington school exposure case. I don't know. I don't know if it's owned by the school district or if it's owned by the park and recreation center. But I mean, the high school clearly is.
The industrial grade products you need, all in one place. Call, click.
Registered sex offender Richard Cox was back in a Virginia courtroom for a preliminary hearing that lasted hours.
Cox is accused of exposing himself to multiple women and children inside girls' locker rooms in Arlington public schools. Now, those facilities have pools that are open to the general public outside of school hours.
Our Nick Minock reports on what witnesses told the court today, and we do need to warn you, some of their testimony is graphic.
A dozen witnesses testified in the preliminary hearing for Tier 3 sex offender Richard Cox Thursday morning, including women who say they saw him naked in the women's locker rooms in Arlington County's Wakefield High School and Washington Liberty High School. One witness said when she and her 5-year-old daughter went into the locker room after swim class, Cox, who identifies as a woman but is still physically male, was standing naked in a shower stall with the curtain open, touching himself. On another occasion, a woman and her 5- and 6-year-old daughters were at Barcross Sports and Fitness Center for a gymnastics class when they went into the girls' locker room. Again, Cox was in there naked. A 17-year-old lifeguard who worked at one of the pools witnessed the same. As we have reported, Arlington Public Schools allow people to use bathrooms and locker rooms which align with their chosen gender identity. In court this morning, Cox repeatedly insisted he is a woman and insisted the judge order the prosecutor to stop misgendering him and to use female pronouns. The judge declined. Later in the hearing, an Arlington police officer responding to complaints testified that he waited for Cox to come out of the women's locker room for an hour. When the officer finally went into the locker room, he found Cox sitting naked on a bench. Detectives also testified they found child pornography on Cox's phone, along with children's gymnastic class schedules for the Barcross Sports and Fitness Center and children's swimming lesson schedules for Fairfax County rec centers. The prosecutor told the court those facts speak clearly to Cox's motive for visiting those facilities. As a Tier 3 registered sex offender, he is not allowed to be near any programs which cater to children. And all the prosecutor tells 7 News, Cox faces 8 felonies and 5 misdemeanors, and the case goes before a grand jury next week. Nick Minock, 7 News.
Nick, thank you. Now, just in at 5 o'clock here, Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares has now filed 2 documents in court opposing attempts by Fairfax and Arlington public schools to block the U.S. Department of Education from enforcing federal protections for women in school bathrooms, locker rooms, and changing areas. The AG's filings urge the court to enforce Title IX and to deny the county's emergency requests against the Education Department.
That's interesting.
Living the dream, powerful.
Okay. Oops. Man, damn it. I hate when that happens. When it hits the wrong thing. Her bed is messed up. Should I fix her bed? I'll fix her bed in a second. Give me a second here. Let me share the screen. There we go. Sorry. Top Democrat tries to grab the gavel from a Republican in Wisconsin Senate during a bill debate about blocking taxpayer-funded benefits for illegals. Democrats are completely unhinged. Yeah, so you're going to watch this. This is crazy. This is nuts.
Illegals. If you want to go back to the 1950s and look what the Mexican, I won't name the bill, where over 1 million people were deported from the United States.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, that was the 1950s. It was President Eisenhower, and he deported over 1 million people in 90 days. 90 days, over 1 million people deported. It was called Operation Wetback. And he used the military to do it. And guess what? Nobody called him a fascist. Nobody called him authoritarian. Nobody called him nothing. Because it was the law, and he was enforcing the law. We need Jim to knock once a stream just so we can see Bill moving and not sleeping. Well,
Thousands of them were U.S. citizens just because they looked Latino. And what do the courts come out with now?
What? You have to. This bill is about illegals. This is about
getting tired of you.
And so, yeah. And so this guy is deranged. He just said that thousands of American citizens, U.S. citizens, have been deported. Not one U.S. citizen has been deported. Not one.
Illegals. That's what I'm talking about.
This is
if you're too
illegal.
cowardly to
You're
let me
talking about
speak
the
and speak the truth about this situation,
If you have a specific
don't have a
question
public
about
hearing.
their specific bill, you can ask it, but I'm not going to sit here and allow things outside of the bill. That's my job. And I'm going to do my job.
That is BS.
This is about,
I have a right to discuss the
these are
bill,
illegal.
talk about immigration.
It's outside of the
I'm
scope of the
sorry
bill.
you don't know about enough of immigration
It's outside
to
of
make a
the scope of the
decision.
bill.
So anyhow.
Yeah, he don't have enough information about immigration to make a decision. That's what he just told him. This guy who just said that they're deporting thousands of American citizens. Mm-hmm. You would think he could just use the gavel to crack him, or maybe like the guy grabbing him. But this is just Democrats have gone off the rails. I mean, they've gone to the point where we're going to need to start have canings like they back had during the 1800s in Congress. Maybe. I don't know. Democrats' theatrics in Wisconsin prove they prioritize open borders over taxpayers. The bill to block benefits for illegals is common sense. Why should working Americans fund non-citizens' health care and services? Minnesota already repealed this insanity with bipartisan support, saving $150 million annually. Yeah, and then what they do? See how that guy acted? And then the one Democrat who voted with the Republicans to repeal that in Minnesota was the woman who got killed by that guy who they're saying was a MAGA guy. Why would a MAGA guy kill the one woman who voted with the Republicans? That was appointed by Tim Walz. Baldwin's allies scream racism while Medicaid collapses under 12 million illegal enrollees nationwide. Real border security means enforcing laws, not gavel-grabbing tantrums. Cut the waste, fund the citizens. Wow, look at this. Stolen valor. CBS expected to clear New Jersey's Democrat gubernatorial candidate, Mickey Sherrill, of claims she lied about her rank and missed graduations due to her role in the Naval Academy cheating scandal. Instead, because of administrative error, the network received almost an entirely unredacted copy of her service record, documents that would normally have hidden those details. While the records were not released publicly, CBS was forced to admit that Sherrill had in fact engaged in stolen valor and was tied to the cheating scandal, both of which she has denied throughout her career. I'm sure as much of the huge problems that America's experiences due to horrifically high number of people who have been prescribed psychotropic drugs. It's probably a lot to do with it. CBS News accidentally proved gubernatorial candidate Mickey Sherrill is guilty of stolen valor. CBS assumed the portions of the service record that proved she lied about her terminal rank of lieutenant, falsely claiming she was a lieutenant commander, and that she was involved in a cheating scandal at the Naval Academy would have been redacted. When the records arrived from NARA almost entirely unredacted, CBS notified the archives of their mistake. No records were released publicly beyond the network. CBS supports the candidacy of Sherrill and and the incident put them in a difficult situation, forcing their hand. Yeah, they tried to complain and said, like, you released too much information. How does this happen? You mean an elected official who doesn't know how she made $7 million on stock trades would lie about other things? Scandal erupts in New Jersey 2025 governor race. Cheryl was banned from walking with her Naval Academy class due to her participation in a massive cheating scandal that implicated over 730 midshipmen. Yep. Tailhook. That was it. Cheryl declined to allow the New Jersey Globe inspection any disciplinary records from her time at the U.S. Naval Academy. Jack Citrielli. For 8 years, Cheryl has built her entire political brand around her time at the Naval Academy and in the Navy, all the while concealing her involvement in the scandal and her punishment. The people of New Jersey deserve complete and total transparency. Yep, they had to be honest. This comes just hours after a stunning poll this morning found the race is dead tied. Wow. She should be telling you that Mickey Cheryl declined to allow the New Jersey Globe inspect any disciplinary records. Major red flag. She didn't turn them in. Democrat nominee is barred from walking with her class. As a punishment connected to the massive cheating scandal that implicated 130 midshipmen. New Jersey Dem, Mickey Cheryl's having a real bad week. Not only did she get exposed for making $7 million stock trading in Congress, cheating scandal in the Naval Academy prevented her from walking at graduation. And she's not even from New Jersey. She's a typical corrupt Democrat. This is Mickey Cheryl, the Democrat nominee for the governor's race in New Jersey. She's a corrupt politician who has amassed much wealth through insider trading. Here she is on the most friendliest place for a Democrat to go, the Breakfast Club, and watch how this turns out.
So when Newsmax claims that you made $7 million from stock trades, what are they talking about?
Newsmax is, first of all, a very questionable organization that is paying multiple fines. I'm not sure what they're talking about.
Well, did you make $7 million in stock trades at all? Or?
I haven't. I don't believe I did, but I'd have to go see what that was alluding to. Again, what kind of came from.
So when Newsmax claims that you made $7 million from stock.
She said Newsmax is paying. Who's Newsmax paying fines to? Maybe Newsmax should sue her for defamation and for slander, because what fines does a newspaper pay? That doesn't make any sense. We don't fine newspapers. Yeah. New Jersey Democrat candidate for governor faces net worth questions as viral clip resurfaces. Yeah, there's the viral clip. A bulk of social media criticism Republicans have lodged since she faced off on Sunday stems from comments she made months ago on The Breakfast Club. When radio host Charlamagne Tha God asked her if she's made $7 million stock trades, referencing a Washington Free Beacon, the Democrat nominee said, "I haven't. I don't believe I did. I would have to go and see what it was alluding to." During the first debate, Citrielli took aim at her for what she described as profiting from her time in elective office. One of the worst answers imaginable to that question, Steve Guest said in response to the clip that's gone viral. After repeatedly dodging questions posed by Charlamagne Tha God, "I think we made money for my husband's job. He gets paid in stocks, then automatically sold. So I think we made money there. We don't make any money individually trading stocks." She emphasized, "I want people to know I'm not somehow gaining and enriching myself. Mickey does not own or trade individual stocks," the campaign spokesman said. Higgins said that Cheryl's gone above and beyond releasing exact values of her finances to the dollar, and adds that New Jerseyans have zero insight into Citrielli's net worth. The Governors Association clipped and posted a video earlier this summer, and it gained more traction. There's a big difference between her public service and my public service. It actually cost me money. The time I put in took away from my company. In the 7 years that she's been in Congress, her husband tripled their net worth. Just another politician getting rich while you get squeezed. There's been articles written about how transparent, ethical I've been, going above and beyond the requirements in Congress, and I continue to do that. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. Because Governor Newsom is confused about his role under the U.S. Constitution. He oversees California, not federal agencies. He should review the Supremacy Clause. California's law to unmask federal agents is unconstitutional as the state lacks jurisdiction to interfere with federal law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to disregard the state law and adhere to the federal law and agency policies. A brutal loss for Gavin Newsom as Bill Asayli formally directs all federal agents to disregard the brand new California law that bans federal agents from wearing masks. Gavin is learning about the supremacy clause in real time. What timeline are we in that Charlemagne the God is being listened to? California's law to unmask federal agents is unconstitutional, and the state lacks jurisdiction to interfere with federal law enforcement. I have directed federal agents to disregard the state law. The governor is confused about his role under the Constitution. I'll say he's confused about a lot of things. It says, Newsom's mask ban is unconstitutional. Grandstanding. States don't dictate federal enforcement. Supremacy clause isn't a suggestion. Right, it's not a suggestion. ICE agents wear masks to protect themselves from violent retaliation, not to hide. California's obstruction mirrors Padilla's June 2025 stunt disrupting DHS operations, political theater that endangers officers. Federal law prevails. Trump's lawful immigration actions won't be stopped. It does expose California's reckless hostility towards national security. Why do state leaders prioritize chaos over order? Look at this. A man from Somalia sets up a fraudulent autism treatment center in Minnesota and stole $14 million. Somalians in Minnesota were being paid thousands of dollars per month to say their kids have autism while the company submitted millions in fake claims, paid for by taxpayers. He enrolled kids from Minneapolis Somali community, even if they didn't have autism, paying parents monthly cash kickbacks up to $1,500 per child. A family of 4 children could total up to $6,000 per month in kickbacks. Once enrolled, Smart Therapy submitted millions in inflated or fake Medicaid claims. The owner, Asha Farhan Hassan, allegedly used the stolen funds for personal gain, including purchasing real estate in Kenya and enrolling in Smart Therapy and the Feeding Our Future program, where she pocketed an additional $465,000. This is from 5ABC.
I'm investigative reporter Ryan Raish. We've been covering this autism fraud investigation, including the first federal charges that came down on Wednesday for one of the providers. Now we're talking about kickbacks. According to prosecutors, some families are getting involved in this fraud situation in the form of kickbacks. We created a hypothetical situation here. A family of 4, according to the feds, may be receiving up to $1,500 per kid per month. So in this scenario here, one family that's claiming to have kids with autism enrolled in a program could receive up to $6,000 a month in kickbacks. I'm investigative reporter Ryan Ray.
That's crazy. It says they ran several of these schemes now, stealing hundreds of millions of our dollars while Omar and others stayed silent. Long past time to end whatever status they have in this country and send them back. Right, look at this. Mogadishu, Minnesota. A massive daycare fraud in America's most welcoming state raises question about the limits of assimilation. It soon emerged that millions of taxpayer dollars and possible more have been stolen through a massive scam, Minnesota's social service sector, including fraudulent daycare claims. 47 in Minnesota's Somali community charged with stealing $250 million in COVID-19 funds from Children Nutrition Program. 47 individuals, primarily the large Somali community, for their roles in stealing the money. AG seeks $4.5 million in restitution from Lakeville housing developer accused of fraud. Look at another Somali. Nola Shola Development, Abaduli previously promised 160 houses, but he built none and stole the money. And then this. Karen investigates ethics questions emerge over Senate Leader Fattah's housing bill and wife's company ties. This is the guy running for Minneapolis as mayor. They investigate the Housing Stabilization Services Program, which has uncovered widespread fraud. And this is the guy involved in it from CARE 11. Wait until the feds find out about adult daycare facilities. Omar Fattah just got slammed for lying about leftists attacking DHS agents while conducting a drug and human trafficking raid in Minneapolis. If citizens are interfering and attacking federal law enforcement, what is the role of the city police? Citizens are not attacking officers. There is video of citizens attacking the officers. The raid ended up being connected to 900 pounds of crystal meth being taken off the streets.
If citizens are interfering and attacking federal law officers. What is the role of the city police force?
Citizens were not attacking law officers on June 3rd.
There is video
Number
of
one.
citizens attacking federal law enforcement. Fateh, if
No, there wasn't. Minnesota, Somalia speaking. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. And Dearborn, mosques blast the call to prayer at 5 a.m. on loudspeakers in the streets, which is against the city regulations. The city council shrugs her off.
But the mosques in East Dearborn are now at times waking us up at 5:30 in the morning with the call to prayer.
This is Dearborn resident Andrea Unger at last night's city council meeting, stating that mosques using outdoor loudspeakers for their call to prayer should not be allowed, and says she believes it's not supposed to be allowed per city ordinance.
The noise complaints have been made out and the police have made numerous visits. What is the next step?
There was some question whether or not any outdoor loudspeakers are allowed, something that was not clarified, only that more evidence is being gathered. But CBS Detroit did examine Dearborn's noise ordinance and found that loudspeakers between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. are in violation of the ordinance.
But the mosques in East Dearborn are now.
The situation in Dearborn is completely insane. The more you look into it, the crazier it gets. It's even worse than Little Mogadishu. They're building an Islamic capital right in the middle of American heartland, and nobody is doing anything to stop it. This starts at 5 a.m. in the morning. Dearborn, Michigan residents post what they're forced to listen to 5 times a day. They must listen to the Muslim call to prayer blasted through their city. Just listen to how loud it is. How is this allowed to exist in America? FBI director says our citizens are being attacked by organized violence is being paid for by other people. What we're going to do is follow the money. We're going to properly chase them down like the domestic terrorists that they are.
Yes, as Stephen was saying, Mr. President, thanks to your leadership, crime is going downward in a tremendous fashion, and that's what we want for every city in America. And the FBI's premier flagship enterprise, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, are honored to lead this initiative with our partners at Treasury and Homeland Security, because our citizens are being attacked by, as Stephen said, organized violence, and it's being paid for, not by them, by other people. So what we are going to do, combining forces, as Scott and I have done over these last few months, is follow the money. People and organizations have collected funds and put them out into the streets of America and organized violence across our country. And thanks to your recognition of this and this executive order and the AG's leadership to lead out and prosecute these individuals, we are properly going to chase them down like the domestic terrorists that they are. And our streets and our communities are going to be safer because the JTTF and the FBI and Treasury and DHS and DOJ are going to combine forces like never before to root out this new evil that is perpetrating our criminal activities across our societies. And we are just so thankful for your leadership and recognition of it. It's not easy to do. Good. Yes.
Director Patel's right. Follow the money. Crush the networks. The Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2025 authorizes dedicated units to track financial streams from violent groups. And it mandates domestic terrorism section to investigate these threats, while Section 8 allocates resources for financial forensics. When DC elites fund chaos through dark money, NGOs, or foreign proxies, every dollar trails back to the neighbors. Patel's 1,700 active cases proves the scale. Dismantle the funding, collapse the operation. No mercy for those bankrolling attacks against Americans. Yeah. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent weighs in on this, which is good because he could actually do something. He could start freezing people's bank accounts. President Trump has declared Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. Anyone caught funding or supporting violence will be held accountable.
President Trump has declared Antifa
a domestic terrorist organization, and anyone who is funding a domestic terrorist organization should know that you will be examined and you will be held accountable if you are funding or responsible for these riots, for this violence. This violence has to stop. President Trump has declared Antifa.
Mm-hmm. And it says the designation of Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization aligns with Trump's commitment to restoring law and order. While federal law currently lacks a formal terror designation framework, countering online radicalization and terrorism highlights Congress's focus on combating threats from foreign-linked platforms. That's why they should say it's a. They shouldn't say it's a domestic. They should just say foreign, because it's a foreign. It's funded through foreigners. Mm-hmm. Their decentralized structure and exploitation of encrypted acts like Telegram mirror tactics outlined in the bill. Mandates DHS assessment on their terror groups leveraging such tools, and dismantling just networks. The priority remains protecting Americans from coordinating radicalization efforts while upholding constitutional safeguards against government overreach. They are global. That's right. They're global. They need to be. It's a global network. Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's this reporter. Are you worried President will indict your FBI director? I don't know. Did I watch this already? I can't remember.
President Trump, are you worried now that the next time there's a Democratic president, they will indict your FBI director or people in your administration?
That's what they tried to do, right? They did it with me for 4 years. They went after me. They went after me for 4 years, and that doesn't include the 4 great years that we had in the White House. So when I ran it from, 2016 when we won, it began before I got to office. You know that. Wait a minute.
All right.
Before I came to office, I started hearing rumors about Russia. I said, what the hell do I have to do with Russia? Nothing. And then it got worse and worse. And some of the fakers, not you, but some of the fake news picked it up and they loved it. And we went through a long time with that. And despite that, we had a great first term.
We had a great first term. That's right. Let's see this right here. We got this. Dapper Detector says, just in, another one of Governor J.B. Pritzker's peacekeepers, Chester Alexander, was just arrested for assaulting Chicago police officers. The V on his shirt can't be for victory, probably for Weisslers. Defund the police, replace violent thugs. Yeah, this is another one. So here in Inglewood today, we met with the peacekeepers who are working to create safer communities. This is J.B. Pritzker. Yeah, one of the peacekeepers was found to have a warrant and had 4 warrants for his arrest. Yeah, this is the peacekeepers. Mm-hmm. Peacekeepers.
Fucking punch him in his face. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Watch out. Hey, stop fucking punching him, man. Stop fucking punching him. Stop fucking punching him. This shit on camera. They going to jail. Hey, they beating up for that. Stop punching him. That's not right. Officer Walter. Shoot it if you want to. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Hey, stop fucking grabbing like that, man. Back off. Get your bitch ass. Watch out. Get back. What the fuck y'all doing like that? I got it all on camera. On my grandma.
On my grandma. You got it all on camera.
Why you squaring up, bro? Why you squaring up? Come on, bro. Y'all bust his ass when it is, bro. Come on, man. Don't worry about it. Put him out of custody, but disregard the 10-1. Stop doing too much.
Yeah, so that's what's happening. That's the people that J.D. Pritzker is honoring and meeting with, attacking cops. We got this. Apple, Google refused to suspend the ICE tracking apps used by the Dallas shooter. Huh. Weird. They sure had no problem suspending Parler. They suspended Parler right after J6 because they said it was used to coordinate the protest, remember? That's weird. But they'll leave an ICE tracking app in their stores as if they can't be used to coordinate attacks on ICE agents. They refused to suspend the anti-ICE apps. In a chilling social media post, FBI Director Patel described how Wednesday sniper was gathering intelligence online for the ambush using the ICE app. And they retraced his movements and writings. They reviewed a document that listed Dallas DHS locations, searched apps that track the presence of ICE agents, and confirmed the gunman utilized these apps to carry out the attack. So they can give ICE the slip. In some instances, illegal immigrants use the apps so they can give ICE the slip, but in this new use, left-wing radicals employ the apps for even more nefarious purpose of violence and terror. Hopefully, this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with armor-piercing rounds on the roof? A handwritten note read. The wording of Patel's post indicated there could be more notes. Yeah, the Federalists sent emails to media relations teams at Google and Apple. These teams are made up of people who are paid full-time wages to answer questions from the media, and the question the Federalists asked seemed like a real softball. Will the App Store remove the apps that track ICE or law enforcement? The answer should be an automatic yes, we are removing them. We should never have allowed such apps. But at the time of publications, both companies have refused to comment. Perhaps the silence means they are working on filtering a carefully crafted statement through layers of staffs that could take hours or days to emerge. Shamefully, CNN promoted the ICE app in June, prominently featuring the creator whom it qualified in the headline, "I wanted to do something to fight back." Yeah, the creator whose wife worked for the DOJ and then got fired and then was complaining about why she got fired. In our upside-down world, radar detectors that tell speeding drivers to slow down when a cop is near are outlawed in Virginia and Washington, D.C. Rules vary in other states, but apps that allow criminals to avoid arrest or worse, help killers stalk and shoot ICE agents are freely available for downloading. This is breaking. FBI got the goods on the ICE sniper. Agents tore up his bedroom and they found secret notes. Democrats say ICE had it coming, but they're tracking and doxing agents and letting their hounds loose.
Fox News alert, the FBI got the goods on the ICE sniper. Agents seized his electronics and tore up his bedroom. One of the handwritten notes said, hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? AP stands for armor piercing. The sicko believed ICE was human trafficking and wanted them all dead.
He called the ICE employees people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck. He wrote that he intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel and to maximize property damage at the facility.
The sniper, Joshua John, also left notes saying he was the lone gunman. Quote, yes, it was just me and my brain, and tried to get investigators to play a game of cat and mouse. One note said, good luck with the digital footprint. The FBI didn't have a problem. They cracked right in and discovered multiple Google searches for, quote, Charlie Kirk shot video. Just a day before the attack, he used the same gun and ammo as Tyler Robinson. This was a Charlie Kirk assassin copycat. He also left evidence of an elaborate attack plan. Authorities found a ladder and believe John nestled up into his sniper's nest at around 3 a.m., almost 4 hours before shots rang out. Cash says there was a high degree of pre-attack planning. The sniper also had downloaded a list of Homeland Security facilities and was tracking the locations of ICE agents.
Anyone who creates or distributes these apps that is designed to spot, track, and locate ICE officers are well aware of the dangers that they are exposing to law enforcement.
Another drugged out weirdo. Hey, what's up, J-Rock? How you doing?
Their intended target.
Karen Bass this summer was bragging about tracking ICE agents.
We have a rapid response network where everybody is alerted. If you see masked men getting out of unmarked cars, let everybody in the area know.
How's ICE supposed to do its job if Democrats are blasting out their coordinates to potential hitmen? The media says, don't point fingers. ICE had it coming.
The militarization of ICE and other federal law enforcement.
Hey, J-Rack, how you doing?
Aggressive tactics. So the people who are starting to act out against this feel it's their only recourse. Again, this is predictable.
ICE agents put their lives on the line under sniper fire to protect illegals in their custody. And the media is saying if ICE doesn't dial back its operations, more bullets are going to fly. How do you justify violence like that? That's like saying the girl deserved it. She was wearing a miniskirt. It's victim blaming, like they did with Charlie Kirk. Now they're doing it again with ICE. How many more people have to die?
I buried Border Patrol agents. I buried ICE agents. I've handed too many folded flags to spouses and children of those that died in line of duty. For God's sake, stop the rhetoric.
ICE agents' attacks are up 800% this year. And Democrats aren't saying knock it off. They're yelling like they're living in the Third Reich.
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo. This is the United States of America. Unmask yourselves.
Crockett thinks ICE agents.
I'm not a Canadian.
There's somebody who understands history
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period, but if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols.
The entire White House, even the press corps, thinks Crockett's a total joke.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to go to war with these people and get them out of the country. Yeah.
This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson.
She compared ICE raids to slave patrol. I want to ask you.
To slave?
To slave patrol.
I think she's gone over the line, and I think a lot of the people. Look, the Democrats have become radical left lunatics.
When you call people in uniform Nazis, Gestapo, and slave catchers, what do you think's going to happen? They're literally telling each other they're at war with us.
We're at a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
That same guy says, nothing matters.
Listen, it should not matter whether the radicalization comes from the right or the left or, sort of the non-ideological deep dark recesses of the internet.
That's like saying it doesn't matter whose dog keeps biting people on the street. Sure, we can hand out bandages every time, but are we just going to keep letting the dog go out without a leash? No, we call animal control, and we hold the owner accountable. Democrats are suddenly not interested in root causes when they're at the root cause. Remember during the war on terror, they kept asking, why do they hate us? Why do these Muslims hate us? Now there's a war on ICE, and they don't care how anyone gets radicalized.
Who do you hold responsible for the uptick in left-wing violence?
Radical left rhetoric. The radical left is causing the problem. The right is a lot tougher than the left, but the right's not doing this. They're not doing it, and they better not get them energized because it won't be good for the left. And I don't want to see that happen either. I'm the president of all the people.
Democrats in the media let their hounds loose, and now they don't want to be reprimanded.
It's super irresponsible. I don't need to say unpresidential. It's irresponsible of anybody to attribute the violent, deranged actions of a single individual to a political party, Republican or Democrat.
They've called for a war on ICE, and they're shooting at ICE agents. They can't lecture us about what's irresponsible. Even Obama's own ICE director says it's open season.
What this attack reveals and what all this uptick in assaults on ICE officers reveals really, unfortunately, ICE has become a symbol of the Trump administration. As a result of that, it's a target for violent extremists.
Democrats are storming ICE facilities, lunging at cabinet secretaries. They're calling us Nazis. They're holding resistance labs and then telling people to go out and do whatever's necessary to win the war.
Let's be clear. No knight in shining armor is coming to save democracy. It's on all of us to save our countries and our rights.
Hillary just deputized millions of Americans to put on armor and do it themselves. All ICE is doing is enforcing the law that Congress wrote, fulfilling a mandate that voters chose. And all Charlie was doing was talking to them. And what do we get? Bullets. Charlie Shooter had "Hey Fascist, Catch" carved into the shell casings. And now it's all over campus. This flyer was put up at Georgetown. Look at that. Under it, the only political group that celebrates when Nazis die. College conservatives don't feel safe anymore.
Every conservative, everyone who just does not subscribe to the prevailing leftist orthodoxy, this is a direct threat against them. It means that there are students at this campus who would want to see conservatives dead rather than engaging with their ideas, rather than facilitating a political discourse.
Democrats shut down schools for a virus with a less than 1% chance of dying. Meanwhile, conservatives are open targets on campus, and schools aren't stopping it. So what do? Well, for one, we drowned him out. That was at a Turning Point event. A new poll says 8 in 10 voters say we're in a political crisis, and more than half.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, JD Vance, it says the difference between speech and encouraging violence is I'm a big boy. You can criticize me. You can criticize POTUS. But when you lie about ICE, encourage unmasking and doxing, and encourage followers to engage in violent protests against law enforcement, you're inciting violence against the men and women who keep us safe.
Laura, I'm a big boy. Criticize my views on immigration policy all you want. Criticize the president, criticize our administration. But when you lie about our ICE officers, when you encourage unmasking and doxing, when you encourage your followers to go and engage in violent protests against our law enforcement, you are by definition inciting violence against the men and women who keep us safe. That's what really worries me. It's not the criticisms of me. It's the criticisms of the people on the ground who are just doing their job. They're trying to keep us safe. They're trying to enforce our border laws, and they are being treated by terrorists by the Democrats and leadership in Washington, D.C. It's disgraceful, but more than that, it is inciting violence against our police officers, against our ICE officers. It's just got to stop. They're going to get more people killed. They've already gotten people killed. It's got to stop. Laura, I'm a big boy.
Okay. And then we got this story here. Says crowds erupt in USA chants as President Trump and his granddaughter Kaya Trump arrive at the Ryder Cup in Nassau County, New York. Trump will be sitting in the grandstand behind the first tee box.
So, as we get set for the afternoon session, there's a new spectator in the house, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and his granddaughter Kai also with him, just arriving to the stands here, with the United States trailing Europe 3-1.
Well, I don't know. I don't like him being outside like this. I really don't. I don't like him being outside. I don't think it's a good idea with everything that's been going on. You know, like this. Oh, well, they got, okay, I see some glass. He's behind some glass. Okay. All right. All right. I see he's behind some glass. All right. See it? At least I got some glass there for him. All right. I feel better now. All right, everybody. It's been a great night. I want to thank everybody who was here. I want to thank everybody who came by, all the people who subscribed, all the people who, liked and supported the channel. I want to thank you all, for coming out. It's been great. It's been a great night. I want to remind you all that Saturday night there will be a show. Sunday night there will be a show. There will be a show every night that I can do them. And I want to thank you all. And yeah, definitely. So good night. Come on back. Let Jim tell you the news.